Amanda.
Okay. All right, good. And since you said you picked your character, you're obviously already logged on to Fake Massic, right?
Yeah, I have it.
Okay, so I'm gonna play the seventh child. And what is the seventh child's name?
I'll just make it my real name. It'll make it easier.
Okay. So I'm going to hold off on any rules explanation until we actually start recording, because that is part of the game. But I just want to make sure everything is set up. Have you played Fate before?
No. This is my first time.
All right, good. It's an easy game to learn, so go.
Well, hi folks. My name is Colin, and I am going to try and teach you, or show you anyway, a method that I use to paint miniatures.
Top Dog Games, makers of Stat Trackers.
This is in lieu of the fact that we cannot see each other in person.
Did you get any good games yesterday?
Which I'm very sad about, because
you get any good,
that's always a great time.
Sorry, did you get any good games yesterday?
Anyway, I just want to give you a brief overview. I'm going to be taking
I did the
Bones
alien and zombie one, and then I also did the ring one and the
But the method that I'm going to show you is
the zombie one, the one run by Sean?
I don't know.
And I'll show you some of the pieces that I started along the way, and we'll take it from there. So the very first thing that I always do whenever I open up a package for miniatures is I want to look real careful. This particular one is called Isabelle and Rufus. So she is a bard, it looks like.
Came with us yesterday, so
playing some kind of a guitar thingy.
Hopefully we get off the ground this morning.
With a long sword and a shield. Pretty cool, actually, mini. And she has a dog. I guess that's her pet, or whatever they want to do it. And it's got nice bases, so it's a pretty decent mini. It's one of their newest ones. I just picked it up. Anyway, all of these, the first thing I want to do is I want to look at the detail.
Well,
I want to see
for the Saturday one,
and think about what
for this
part
one, I was just sort of
of the miniature
for Sunday,
I
I'm
want,
gonna just be checking
what color,
the
and I want to analyze it.
for a game that will be
As I'm doing
soon.
that, I'm actually
And so I just
going
found this
through
one.
my first step. I take black paint, and these are the Master Series paints from Reaper.
So far the games have been good.
I just have a collection of different colors.
I was in
I'll show you in a few minutes.
Ran my game yesterday.
So I take a soft brush, and not too small, not too big, and I just put it right, and I just stipple it right in, just poke it right in, and I want to get the entire miniature painted with this black. I do this for two reasons. The main reason is I want a dark base coat of kind of like a primer, although these miniatures don't need primer. This is
Only
one
10 minutes
brand
left.
that it's already ready to paint. That's why I just started right with the acrylic. I didn't have to put on any kind of other base coat. So I'm going to use this as a primer anyway, but not in the sense that you need it.
Stream, so actually, several people yesterday told me they played yesterday because they didn't want to.
So the reason, and I digress a little bit, but the reason that we put primer on a plastic model,
and that's actually
is because plastic typically
my first
does
game
not
yesterday was also
allow
live
acrylic paint or water-based paint
so,
to stick. Doesn't
we had a
adhere
few
to
people
it.
that were
So we
going to drop out or did drop out.
Plastic models
once they heard it being live streamed.
An enamel.
Yeah, they weren't as clear as they could have been on the sign-up.
And that's the best way to do a base coat. When the enamel spray sticks to the plastic and dries, it then gives you a surface that you can paint acrylic paints onto.
Live stream, so
So that's the reason we usually do that. But there's another reason that I use a base coat like this, and more
Yeah, cool with being
specifically,
on
I
live
use a
stream.
black base coat.
I don't really have an issue with it, mostly because I just forget
Now, I
that
don't
we're on a live
always, but
stream.
99% of the time I use a black base coat. Sometimes I'll use a darker gray or something like that. But anyway, the reason is because of shadow. Whenever you see an object in the real world, it has highlights and shadows. And so you want to have something that represents those things. So when your paint is going to be that something, you need to make sure that you start from the inside out. And so by putting a black paint over the entire miniature, really just getting it all in, then letting it dry, and go ahead and do her dog too, you're putting the first layer of paint. You're actually creating the shadows. And that's important because when you are painting and working, like I said, from the inside out, you're going to go from darker to lighter. And that makes sense in the real world. If you just look at a piece of clothing or something sitting around you, any object, three-dimensional object, you'll see that the areas that are in sunlight or in artificial light are brighter than the areas that are in the shadows. And the shadows always, if they're very deep shadows, you can't tell what color something is if it's in a deep shadow. It's just too dark. The light doesn't reflect. And so the same thing what you want to do is replicate that with paint. And so we do is, or I do, you paint it first all black, and that's putting your first base coat on. And it's a great way to have that deep, dark shadow effect when you need it. It's already there. So I'm going to let those guys dry for a few minutes and clean off my brush a little bit. And just as a quick note, I have a cream cheese container. You get a top that has great for a palette, and you get the bottom part, which is great to hold water in. And you want to constantly clean your brush. And when you clean your brush, you shake it around in the water, and you drag it across a soft tissue or a paper towel, and always pull it through and maybe twist it a little bit. And these paint brushes, depending on the quality, they will last longer than others, but you want to keep your bristles in a healthy state. So you train them, and you wash them and smooth them.
Yeah. All right. So what do we? So I mean, I could run a one-player game if we need to, but obviously it'd be much better with a couple more players. So. Yeah, we were just talking about that. A lot of players don't seem to want to be on the live stream, so I had like at least two players yesterday who that's why they joined that game. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep, so did I. How'd the live today? I didn't get a chance to see them, but
Mine went well. I don't know,
good.
like the rest.
All right, good. Awesome. Mm-hmm. Yep. I got to play in one Friday and ran mine yesterday, and both went very well. So, yep, it was good.
Mine's been great. I think so. I remember seeing your name in the chat. Yeah.
Oh, how was that? I've wanted to play the One Ring for a long time and never gotten a chance. How was that? It sounded like it went well.
I mean, I was playing as like the bride and I had a dog, only for role playing, but I still loved the dog. I named it Indiana Bones because why not?
Oh, can I ask you a technical question? Is there a way to share my screen and have my my face on, like live video chat at the same time? I found that you can share the I found that you can share the sorry the you know the what's it called, the whiteboard, but can you share your screen at the same time? Mhm. No, I mean I can run a one person, but yeah, if it would be better if there was a. Could we get another couple people on? But if that's it, then we'll go. Hmm. Yep. I mean, you're welcome to join if it's not going to interfere with running the streams. So. Okay.
So what's going on?
Deciding if he might join the game.
All right.
So we'll see. Mhm. Okay, great. That's good. Yep. So yeah. So no, I'll be part of this game is teaching. So I'll be teaching it during the game. Mhm. All right, good. Yeah, absolutely. Yep, it's a little bit lower volume than it was before, but it's very clear. Oh no, it sounds fine. I'm not getting any feedback or reverb or anything, so that's good.
Wait, what about mine?
You sound good. Yep, like I said, just a little higher volume than Steve, but on that. Mhm. How's my hair? Nope.
Should I turn my camera on though?
It's up to you. Okay. Mhm. Okay.
If I can get my lights to work, I'll
Okay.
put my camera on.
Oh, good. So you are. Mhm. Really? Okay. So I'm not going to do that. So let's. Sure. Okay. Yep. No, it's good. Well, it was, but yeah, I'll use it while I'm explaining stuff. Okay. Mhm. Yep.
Yep.
All right. Looks like we're live. All right. So welcome to Border Kingdom. So this is a game of Fate Accelerated, slightly modified that I did modified to make it simpler for conventions and quicker for players to pick up and new players. And then sounds like both of the players here, both Steve and Amanda, are both new. So it's good. So I'll be going through the rules explanation a little bit in the beginning and then more as the situations come up in the game. Okay. So obviously we're recording this. I know both of you wear that, so I don't have to go through disclaimers any further. But I want to explain just what the tone of the game is. This is a comic drama, okay? Meaning that things are not necessary. There's the world is not particularly serious, but there is a lot of drama. Okay, so can happen. Bad things will happen, are happening to people, but we're not at all meant to be a grim, dark thing. The other thing is it is an active game, and that's built into Fate also. You have to be active, or the game doesn't work. and this will be also clear as I explain how the rules are. It's fundamental into the rule set that you must be acting. You must be going forward and doing things and dramatically pursuing whatever your goals are. Okay. For now, normally I use in face-to-face conventions, I use the X card. That's obviously not possible with the Zoom thing. But what this means is if you ever feel that there's something going on in the game, you're like, I don't want this to happen here. This is not something we should be dealing with. You can always just say stop or pause. Okay. Once you've said that, that stops the game immediately. We'll talk about what is that was disturbing or uncomfortable, and whatever that section we're doing just did not happen, and we will go back to wherever it was and move on without doing that. Now, the game's going to be generally PG-13, and there will be absolutely no, there's absolutely no reference to anything like rape, sexual thing. There could be death. Okay, though PCs can't die without the players' cooperation. But is there anything else you two just don't want to show up? So the plot does involve sickness. The king is sick. But if that's it, let me know if that's uncomfortable. Okay, and that will just be a background element rather than something that's up front. But if there's anything else you two just don't like, any phobias, anything you just don't want involved in the game?
Yeah, thank you for checking. I am totally cool with any of this stuff. I'm very excited to see what the game has in store. But yeah, no, I think that's a great policy to check before any game.
Yeah,
Amanda?
I think I'm fine with it, but
Okay.
it is a good thing to check.
Yeah, just don't forget that if it ever gets to the point like, look, I just don't want, just say your character gets dropped into a pit of spiders. You're like, oh, no, just no. Okay? Just say stop and it did not happen. We'll rewind. Okay?
Absolutely.
All right. So the setting of the game is a small border kingdom at the very edge of human civilization, upon which is a single castle, a single town, and in every direction a whole lot of sheep. Okay? Now, you're all characters who are at the town, in the castle, staying in the castle, the week after a big tournament that was thrown, and where most of the guests have left. Now, Amanda's already chosen the seventh child. I'm using Fate Masick to run the game. It's Steve, if you go up to the very beginning of the Discord chat, you'll see the link.
I'm in the file. I see a couple different characters. Beloved Princess, Dashing for a Knight.
Mm-hmm.
I was looking at Mysterious Stranger.
Absolutely. Okay. So, yep. One of the nice things about Fate is you don't need to explain the rules to understand the characters, because the most important stuff is all written out. So you want to be the Mysterious Stranger?
Yeah, it seems like an interesting character.
Okay, so Stephen, what is the name of the Mysterious Stranger?
I think his name is Belmond Royale.
Belmond? How do you spell the last name?
Raele.
Okay, so I just added a note right under the description. Is that correct? Belmond Royale?
Let me see. Yep, perfect.
Okay. So I'm going to, let's disappear the unused characters, except I'll leave the princess. I'll use her as the example. Okay. All right. So the character sheets have three main sections that define your character. Okay, you have your aspects, which are the high concept, the trouble, and then the miscellaneous aspects.
Did you want to share this screen just so that it would be?
Yep, you're right. I forgot to do that.
Oh, not a problem. I just wanted to check to see if we wanted to, see it on the screen.
Yep. Okay. So like I say, what you see here is the character sheets for the game. So you have a high concept that defines who the character is in the broadest terms. It's a one sentence or one phrase really that make you understand what the character is about. And then the trouble, which is the problems the character has, and then two more miscellaneous aspects. There's a blank third one, which you will define in play. Okay.
Okay.
Now, the important thing to know is I'm running Fate Accelerated, which is the lightest version of Fate, and my favorite, personally. What this means is, you notice there's no such thing as a skill or a stat or anything like that. We'll explain approaches, but they're not really skills or stats as they're normally thought of. Okay?
Okay.
What you can do is determined by your aspects. And 90% of the time, if you'd say, you tell me what you want to do, and I look and say, well, obviously your character can do that, and they would succeed. If there's not a specific reason, they would fail. If it's tied to anything on your aspects, you succeed.
Okay.
Okay? For instance, the beloved Princess of the Keep. If she wants to go up and talk a maid into telling her something, there's no reason the maid wouldn't. Why would she not? There's no need to roll for that. Of course the maid will talk to the beloved Princess of the Keep, unless the maid is specifically hiding something, in which case there may be a roll to figure it out. Fate is a very open system. The game master doesn't really hide much about what's important from the players. So there's nothing like those hidden perception rolls or anything.
Okay.
Now, if the princess wanted to sneak out a window, she has been sneaking out since childhood. So sneaking out a window is just something she does. What she does, unless there's unless there's another character specifically watching to stop her, it'll happen. Okay.
Okay.
Example I use often now, but that may not be true. For instance, for the mysterious stranger, he has no particular reason to be good at sneaking out windows. So for him, different characters may need roles at doing the exact same thing. Some characters may need roles, some may not.
Understandable.
Now, of course, the way this works out to be fair, so you're not worried about is you can accomplish the same thing in different ways with different characters. If you sneak out the window is a method of getting out of a room. The mysterious stranger could simply fade into the shadows and not be noticed, and or not be talked to, and he'd avoid whatever the princess was trying to sneak out the window for, just in a different way. Okay, with slightly different outcomes. Okay, so the aspects are open to interpretation. So if different characters can be very different in the hands of different players, even if the same aspects are on there. Now, in a campaign, of course, over time it become very clear what you're doing. But here, feel free to interpret the aspects any way you want. For instance, I've had a game of this where it was the player decided, or the princess decided, their distressingly freaking kidnappings were being done by the princess. She was kidnapping other people and was dragging them into her quarters. And, fine. Okay. So it can go, as long as it makes sense for what's on there, go ahead and play it. Or just make sure it's clear to the players and me what you do mean by, because you do have to be consistent.
Right.
Over the course of the game, what it means. Okay.
Okay.
So now let's go to those cases where I do say, well, there is a reason you could fail at this. Okay. That's when you use the approaches. There are 4 approaches: socially, mentally, physically, and magically are the 4 approaches that are used in this version of the game. This is different than standard Fate. I set it up this way because I found it easier to get players to get into it quickly. Okay. In a convention setting. So, but basically, do not think about the approaches when you're telling me what you want to do. So you should not be thinking, I'm going to socially do this. You tell me, I'm going to talk to them. I'm going to go and whine to the to my father. I'm going to go and shout at the guard. I'm going to attempt to flatter the dragon. Okay? It should be obvious what approach you're using from what you do. So just describe what your character is doing as if you're watching in a movie.
So it seems like it's a very RP heavy system. It's more,
Mhm.
and I believe you kind of explained this in the beginning. It's a lot of us saying, this is how we want our character to do things, and then it's more of the storytelling rather than just dice rolls.
Right. Yes. In fact, the game goes best when you don't ever say this. Tell me this. Just play it out. And
Awesome.
when you need to make a dice roll, we make a dice roll when there's ever uncertainty whether it succeeds or not.
Awesome. Love it.
Okay. The more you think about the mechanics, really, the less smooth the game will go.
Good to know.
Okay. So, for instance, between the mysterious stranger and the seventh child, both of you are powerful magically. But so what you do is tell me. For instance, the seventh child has an aspect of an amazing bag of magical tricks. Okay.
Yeah.
So you have a bag in which is a amazing number of small magic items. It could be anything. You just tell me what you're pulling out of it and what it's doing when you throw it or hold it or whatever you do. You could have magic acorns. It could be you could somehow have a flask of some sort of magic elixir that you'd found somewhere during your adventures. You have had crazy luck all your life and have been stumbling into weird stuff all the time.
All right.
Okay, but you have to describe you have to describe it. You can't just say, I'm going to put the orc to sleep. No, you got to tell me I am pulling out a pouch. I pulled a pouch of pixie dust that I'd gotten when I was fleeing through the pixie forest because I'd accidentally stepped on one of their flowers or something. Okay.
All right.
Oh, this seems like it's going to be a lot of fun.
It's all about inventiveness, really, and descriptiveness. Almost always, the better your description, the more you've controlled what's going to happen. Okay, so again, don't think in terms of mechanical effects. Just describe it. Same for the mysterious stranger. You have the secrets of the Silver Circle, and of course, you are just a mysterious stranger. Now, what the Silver Circle is, that's up to you. But it's something you know the secrets of.
Okay.
And so you can use those secrets to do magic. Okay.
Like it.
Same with socially. Now, I'm focusing on magically because it's the most it's the most wide.
Right.
Open thing.
It's more far-reaching than some of the other.
And everybody knows what it means to do something physically. Okay.
Yeah.
Mentally is basically anytime you're succeeding by being smart, whether it's because you know something, you're more clever than somebody, you've got a plan. Okay, that's when you use mentally. Anytime you are talking somebody else into something or impressing somebody because of who you are, or on this is socially. And then physically is anytime you are using physically your own control of your own body, basically,
Okay.
to do something physically. You can accomplish almost anything in all four ways, but the outcomes will be, different depending on how you did it. You can win an argument by punching somebody in the face. It'll be just as successful mechanically as anyway, but of course the consequences are different than if you manage to charm them and smile at them and get them to agree to every word you said.
Absolutely.
Or turn the crowd against them or whatever, or just been right by being, mentally just being right. You win the argument by just being obviously right. Okay. The final thing on your character sheet is your stunts. Well, the final thing I'm going to go over now, because I'm not going to talk about conflicts, but the final thing that I'm going to talk about now is stunts. Each of you has 3 stunts. Okay, you can actually see them if you mouse over them on the sheet. There's a little down arrow that lets you get the full description of the stunt. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Stunts come in 2 flavors. First, there are things that you are good at. When you do that thing in that way, you get a +2 to your rolls, which is big. +2 is a big advantage. So, for instance, I'll go with Mysterious Stranger. You have a dark and brooding presence. Because of that, when somebody tries to attack you socially, you have +2 to your defense because you just don't care and you are intimidating and just brooding in the corner. You're a loner. It just washes off you. It doesn't affect you. Okay.
Okay.
You are hard to attack socially. The 7th child, because you're a child of a woodcutter, you +2 when mentally navigating wilderness. You don't get lost easily.
All right.
Okay. You also get because you are foolishly certain of your fortune, you are reckless and fearless. So you get +2 when physically overcoming a dangerous obstacle.
Okay.
When you have to run across that rickety bridge that's collapsing and on fire, and oh, by the way, people are shooting arrows at you, you get +2 to that, just because you just have no fear of your safety. Okay.
Okay.
The second type of stunt is, which the 7th child has 1, the Mysterious Stranger doesn't. It's just once per session, you just succeed at something. There's just no way you can fail.
All right.
Okay? You just succeed. Because the 7th child is in pursuit of true love, once per this game, an attempt to seduce her or use a mind-altering enchantment on her just fails. Just flat out. Just has no effect. There's no need to roll. This doesn't matter if it doesn't matter if it's God trying to enchant your character. It doesn't happen because you are in pursuit of true love.
Oh, I should really use that on a god or something, and then they just help me the entire game.
Well, they don't come with you, but their mind-altering enchantment doesn't work on you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
All right.
So, now there is one thing on fate points. Okay? Fate points, you guys all start with 3 of them. They are your currency you buy to spend to be awesome. Okay?
Okay.
At any time on any roll you're making, you can spend a fate point, and you spend it after you roll. You don't have to so if you're already awesome, you don't have to spend them. It's not like the inspiration where you spend it before you. No, if you roll, if you say, I really should not have failed that because this is what I do, or this is what somebody else doesn't do, you can spend them on your aspects to say, you know what, though, because I am a mysterious stranger, I really should not have been talked into spilling my secrets. I'm going to spend a fate point, and then you either re-roll that roll or add 2 to your roll.
Okay.
And you can spend as many fate points in a single roll as you can find aspects that will excuse you spending the fate point. So you can only spend 1 fate point on any given aspect per roll. But if you can say there's 3 aspects that should really help me, you can spend 3 fate points.
Okay.
Okay. Now, you are not limited to spending on your own aspects. For instance, if you look up at the top, the castle that you're in has an aspect that it is way too big. There's absolutely no rational reason this castle should be this big. It is way too big. If that could help you in your role, for instance, if you're trying to run away from somebody or hide, you could spend a fate point on way too big, because it's something that's true. And so you can spend on it just as much as your own aspects. You can spend on other characters' aspects. If you know that somebody is foolish, like if you're trying to trick the 7th child, if the Mysterious Stranger is trying to trick the 7th child and knows the 7th child is foolishly certain of their fortune, they can use that and say, no, but you don't even look into this being a danger because you're foolishly certain of your fortune. And in that case, actually, the 7th child would get the fate point when everything's resolved.
Okay.
I will also be giving you fate points during the game. This will happen when I want you to do something that's clearly not good for your character, but is in character for what their aspects are. I will bribe you with a fate point to do it. Okay?
Sounds
You can
good.
turn it. You can turn the bribe down, but turning down a bribe costs you a fate point.
Okay.
You can also if you just do something that is clearly not advantageous for your character, but in character, you can tell me, hey, look, I just did this stupid thing. My characters did this stupid thing, which they would clearly do, but it's clearly stupid. And to remind me, and I say, yeah, you're right. Have a fate point. Okay? So it's a way to both reward you for playing your character in the ways that don't help the character or, make things more difficult, and to bribe you to do silly, stupid things that make things more exciting. But if your character was rational, would not be something they do. Remember, this is a game of drama. Your characters should not be playing this like you're going to win. Okay.
Makes sense to me.
All right, good. So let's start the game then. And by the way, there are more rules. But I tend to introduce them as the opportunity comes up during the game.
All right. So we
But basically, actually, wait. So far I haven't even told you how you do things. I haven't told you how you roll. That will, when the first time it comes up the game, I'll explain to you how you roll.
Okay.
Okay. So it is.
Are we still in share screen mode?
Oh yes. Let me get out of it. Stop share. Okay.
All right.
So it is the Saturday after the grand tournament here and the Border Kingdom. It has been 3 days since the tournament ended. Most of the people here have started the long trip back to their homelands. The BK is a very isolated kingdom. The only way in or out is a river that has barges along it to the north that goes through the dangerous woods, which are infested by all kinds of bandits and elves. The south is nothing but the wild mountains. To the east is a dank, dismal swamp in which lives the witch. And to your west are the rolling hills where most of the people, all 500 of the inhabitants of this kingdom, live in a small town that is the center there. This is, as I understand, a very small kingdom, place of some 500 people and some 50,000 sheep. You have just gotten up in the morning to come down to the grand hall where breakfast is being served. You are, after all, guests of the castle, though there have been some questions about why you're still hanging around when all the festivities are over. Why is the stranger hanging around?
I think the stranger is hanging around. He trades mostly on information, and I think he knows that, things happen during the tournament, during the festival, but it's the few days after where people start talking about it. That's where the real information comes out. So I think he's just trying to stick around, see what he can know.
Okay, so you've been lurking in corners, snooping on drunken conversations.
Yes.
Listening for a gossip and trying what secrets these people hold. Yes. And the seventh child. By the way, so seventh daughter, right? You named the character Amanda, if I'm right. Yep. Why has she been hanging around the castle all this time?
I mostly just want to look around, see who's here mostly.
Mm-hmm.
Probably because I missed the festival from playing with magic tricks.
Okay, so you missed the grand tournament because you were too busy out entertaining the children in the courtyard, or
Mostly just entertaining
Yes.
myself.
okay. Has there been anyone like she might have had her eye on?
Not currently, no.
Okay. So disappointingly, you did not meet your one true love at the tournament. None of these dashing knights seem to be it. But you've hung around the castle for a few days afterwards, getting to know the people here.
Yeah.
And so it's a little bit surprising to you when you cut down to the Grand Hall, which is a gigantic space, a huge vaulted ceiling with stained glass windows and a massive table that could sit 100 people, at which there's currently 5. Okay. The prince and the princess are down here currently bickering over something as they eat some porridge. There is you two, of course, and a single maid who is going around serving out, looks to be taking out some form of omelet from the kitchen. Every word you speak in here echoes. You can hear just empty. Neither the king, Hergood the Heavy, or his chancellor are down yet. They're usually among the first ones up, especially the chancellor.
So I'm going to kind of be eating but paying attention to what the two are kind of saying as everything's echoing, and every once in a while just saying, "It simply was a wonderful tournament. I mean, truly one of the best that I've seen."
Yep. Yes. And the prince seems to be ribbing his sister, literally with his elbow as he says, "Yep, it was wonderful, wasn't it? Yes, all those knights and lords." And the younger sister, who they're about 14 and 15 years old. The younger sister picks up her porridge bowl. I'm sorry, the older sister picks up her porridge bowl threateningly, and it looks like she's about to dump it on the prince's head. He's been ribbing her about the fact that the tournament was in no small part meant to introduce her and the prince to this. They've been bickering about it ever since it ended.
Can I cheer them on to pour the porridge?
Yes. So you want to egg the princess on to pour the porridge on the prince?
Yes.
Okay. So the princess does have some sense of decorum. So this is something you have to actually roll for.
Okay.
So what are you saying to the princess?
I just whisper that just pour it.
Okay. So this would be a socially roll. So here's how you do the rolls. So Fate uses 4 dice that have only plus, minus, and blank on them. Okay. Each of them being, 2 faces of a 6-sided die.
All right.
Now, if you look at the if you look at your character sheet, at the bottom you see where it says game tools.
I'm going to it. Yeah.
Okay, so there's a 4 times die symbol.
Yeah.
If you click that, it will make a roll. It's rolling 4 dice and then adding up the results to give you something between -4 and +4.
I got 1.
Yep, your whatever approach you're using would then be added to it.
All right, if it's socially, then nothing.
Right. Okay. So on most things I bother to make you roll for, they're going to be mildly heroically difficult things. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That would normally be a +2. This, however, is you're just trying to encourage the princess to be a brat to her brother, which is not something hard to encourage a sister to do.
All right. And if she's
So-
gonna do it, then can I try to save the prince from it and then like become the hero to find true love?
So you wouldn't be able to stop the princess from dumping on her, but if you want to dote over the prince and like clean him up and sympathize,
Yeah, why not?
okay. So the princess looks at you for a second, and then nods, and then turns with a grin and just dumps her porridge right on top of the prince's head. He shouts and screams and go for his porridge just to splash it at her, but she dodges out of the way, laughing, and the prince is left fuming at the and pouting at the table. So what do you say to the prince?
I'm like, well, that was bratty.
Princess shoots you a betrayed look.
Alright, then I just like sympathize, I guess. Try to get on his good side.
So so you go. Princess keeps looking betrayed looks, but doesn't actually call you out on it,
That's good.
and you help clean up the prince. But you can tell by her smirk that she's planning something. She's probably going to be holding those over you for a good long time.
Alright. As long as it's the princess and not the prince.
Mm-hmm.
I look to the princess and just say, "Fickle friends in these times, aren't they?"
She nods and says, "Yes. You ever know you think you can trust somebody, and and look what they do."
Oh, but at least fickle friends are more interesting, at least in my experience.
I guess she's certainly it's certainly amusing to watch her make a fool out of herself over my brother.
Well, I should also say, excellent aim. Doesn't look like he had the same strength to hit you with, as it seems.
Yep. She smirks. So this is a case where basically you're trying to butter up the princess,
Yep.
and she's happy to be buttered up. So there's no need for a roll here.
Okay.
Yep. Okay. But as you're talking to the two of them, there's sudden commotion. As one of the side doors used by the used normally, because nobody ever bothers opening the gigantic, massive wooden doors that are supposedly the main entrance, put open. And one of the maids comes tumbling into the room. Tears are streaking down her face. Sobs coming from her throat. She wails, goes, "Oh, it is so. Oh, young prince."
My dear, what is wrong?
Oh, the chancellor calls for you, young prince. The king.
Do I see where she is pointing to?
She's not pointing to anywhere. She is swooned dramatically upon the floor of the dining room.
Oh, okay. I
I
will.
want to kick her.
I'll look to Amanda and just say, "Looks like we have some more fun in for us."
Well,
I guess.
so Amanda, so I heard you say, so you plan to go over there and kick her?
I want to, but I won't.
Okay.
I'll look to the prince to see what he's doing.
He looks like he's still frozen in surprise, as with the last little bit of oatmeal dripping off his clothes. It's like he doesn't seem to. He seems to be wide-eyed and uncertain what to do.
I'll kind of like snap my fingers in front of him and say, it may be wise for you to think of something at this point.
But what's happening? Millie, what my father? What's going on? What? And the person goes, it's the chancellor said you should go to his rooms, your father's rooms. Oh, it is horrible.
Well, come on, get to it.
Okay, so you start pushing basically the prince out of the door. He's first like shell shocked and then starts moving as you prod him along.
Does anyone seem to stop me if I move with him?
No, it wouldn't occur to anybody to stop you.
All right, then I'm going to keep going.
Yep.
I'm also going to kind of look back to Amanda and without saying anything, just kind of like, nod to be like, come on, let's go.
All right, I just like follow them. Not much else I can do. This is the most interesting.
So you follow the prince to the main tower. So the castle has 4 towers, but one is much bigger than the others and serves basically as the keep for the castle. Okay. And the king has an entire floor to himself, of course. Several very excessively long stairways up. So the prince starts up the stairways, and you follow after him until he gets to the door that would lead into his father's chambers. He pulls it open, and immediately a horrible stench comes flooding out. The prince immediately goes green and stumbles back and goes up against the wall trying to hold in vomit. And what do you two do? You have now. So an obstacle has presented itself to you. This is one of the 4 types of rolls you make in Fate, which is an overcome. If you want to get into that room, you have to in some way overcome that stench.
Okay.
Before you'll be able to force yourself into the room. So what are you doing to overcome that?
Belmont just I think he doesn't have an experience of doing this quickly, so I think he just kind of out of instinct just goes, all right. Just like mentally fortifies himself and then tries to walk in.
Okay. What
Can I pull
about
out from my magic my box of magic things and pull out a bandana that's supposed to really get rid of a little stench so I can put it on?
Yep, absolutely. Where did you get it?
I got it from the Tooth Fairy when I was 5. Let's say that.
Absolutely. That's the kind of crazy thing that's happened in your life. I mean, it just seems normal to you, but to anybody else, that would be that's just, kind of crazy. Would sound incredible. But yeah, that's just the kind of luck you've had. All right. So
I'm, breathing in deeply going, all right, we can do this. Amanda, are you, and just see her putting on this bandana and go, of course.
Yep. So Belmont should roll mentally, and Amanda should roll magically.
Okay, so I'm on the thing. So I see the 4 dice.
Yep.
All right. So
click it.
So I did that. I got
difficulty is 2, by the way.
So I have 2 blanks, a plus and a minus. So it's mediocre, and I have +2 to mentally.
Yep. So you have a 2. So you succeed.
All right.
You're able to marshal your discipline, get your thoughts together, and force yourself, despite the horrible smell, into the room and hold everything down.
Yeah.
Okay. Amanda got a great, rolled all pluses,
And then pay +3 for magically.
Yeah, so man, so you have succeeded with style. So if you ever get 3 better than you needed, so in this case would have been a 5 would have done it, you succeeded with style. That means in addition to succeeding, you get an advantage you get some advantage out of it that will help you in the future. Okay? It's
Alright.
called a boost. It's a temporary advantage. Now it is a use it or lose it thing for the next, so you're gonna have to use it within the scene. Okay? But so your bandana, this bandana from the Tooth Fairy doesn't just prevent bad smells. There's some other unspecified magic that you can decide at sometime in the next scene that will help you with something else as well. And
All
base
right.
will give you a +2. Okay. And I realize I don't have the boosts set up here, so let's set this up. You have a boost. Okay, and you'll get to use it once at some time during the scene to help you.
Alright, I'm cool with that.
So both of you make your way into the chambers of the king. The prince is still back out, is still trying to hold his gouge and eventually flees back down the stairs. But you two enter into the king's rooms. In here, you can see there's one very green-looking maid who is bent over the commode in the outside, in the wall, as well as you recognize the chancellor. He is the right hand of the king. He basically handles most everything in the kingdom for him, and is very well trusted by the royal family. He's standing over the king's bed, looking with what's clearly grave concern down there, where you can see the king lying on the bed itself. He is extremely pale, and you can see stains spreading across the bedclothes.
What are the stains?
They're brown. And
dear.
so, as you watch, another wash of truly foul stench comes out, and you see the stain spread a little farther.
So it's diarrhea.
Mhm.
Chancellor, at the expense of having to be here for just one more moment, what is going on?
What? Oh, yes. You are Belma and Amanda. Yes. What you do? Well, I suppose it's no sense. The king has he's fallen ill. It is most terrible. I don't understand. He was hale and hearty last night. I'm sure of it.
Oh,
I don't know what to. I mean, we've called for the priest, but I don't know what he'll be able to do.
well, what did he do last night? Did he eat anything? Was he around somebody?
I do not know. I've nothing unusual. I don't believe. I mean, he was you saw him. He left the dinner table as late as usual.
Yes.
Can I just scream out randomly he was poisoned?
I mean, you can.
Without having any confirmation, I just scream out, he was poisoned!
The teacher goes, what? What? What do you mean poison? He says, what do you know?
I know nothing.
What makes you
That's what
say
I'm
that?
saying. It's in every big story that someone gets poisoned. So that's why I say that.
The chancellor says, that's extremely irresponsible, young woman. You do not just shout such things out without cause.
An interesting an interesting take by my friend, but I may be able to do something to test that theory if you'll allow.
Puke says, "Well, what do you know of medicine?"
Not medicine, arcane, but the two are very intertwined. And he pulls out kind of this book with if you look at the book in one way, it looks like it just has like this purple eye over it. But if you look at it from just the right light, it has a silver circle around it. And it is a tome that he has borrowed from the Silver Circle. And
That borrowed in quotes.
they know that he has it, and he knows that
Okay.
they know, but neither of the parties are going to do anything about it because he's been using it for the right
Okay.
reasons.
Okay. Yep.
So he knows that the Silver Circle works with magic of kind of like the mind, so illusions or enchantment. But he knows that there's like a small subsection that works on the body as well, just like basic medicine. So he's going to place his hand on the book and kind of draw some runes in the air, and touches just above the king's forehead to try and detect if there's any abnormality or poison or disease.
So you go over to the king and reach down to touch his forehead. The chancellor watches you.
Yeah, and
He
as
makes
it's
a move
happening-
as if he's about to stop you, and then pauses and holds back for just a moment. Roll your magically.
Okay. Get that.
And actually, you'll roll. I'd actually say some mental roll because you want to know something.
Okay, so that is
For instance, so
that's another 2 because it's mediocre plus 2.
and I'd also let you use your mentally. Well, yeah. So you have +2, which is enough to succeed. So you reach out to him, and as you come close to his forehead, there's like a shimmer in the air, and for just a moment you smell flowers, and then the moment breaks, and you scramble backwards as the king turns to his side and hurls.
Ugh, that is not what I thought would happen.
Barely avoiding the splash. So
I ask if he has a fever.
so
The other person.
but I want to just clear, you're absolutely certain that there was a whiff of magic about him when you came to touch him, and that whiff definitely smelled of flowers.
I'll look to Amanda first, and then I'll look to the Chancellor and say, there is certainly some sort of abnormality, but this is some sort of magic.
So magic, but why would there's no one who would reason to curse the king. There's no one who's even capable of cursing the king around here. I mean, the witch of the swamp, but why would she curse the king?
There are many reasons to curse those in power. Far too many for me to name, and it would serve little interest in getting the king better. Isn't that right, Amanda?
Yeah. I just agree.
Well,
But this is
Amanda, you seem to understand certain arcane disciplines as well. What do you make of it?
I only know magic from the things I have, so my character probably has no clue.
Oh, all right.
But maybe my bandana can cure magical things as well because of the style thing.
Yes, your
Right.
your magical curing bandana. How could I forget?
Right.
Yes. I just put it on the king.
Okay, so what do you want to happen because of putting the banana on the king? What is the goal?
I guess it's just supposed to like cure symptoms of like being sick.
Okay, yeah. So you go wrap the banana around the king and make a magically roll.
All right. Okay, that one was good. And then
Nice.
+3 for the magically, I think.
Wow, you are on
Yeah,
fire.
those are some
Okay,
good rolls.
so and I'm going to use your boost as well. So 3, 6, 8. Yeah, okay. So you wrap the bandana across it, and the king, while the king does not look any more healthy, there's a second later, the king turns over and you recognize a sign of another diarrhea coming out. But a moment later, the fresh scent of a beautiful sea breeze wafts through the room. And you all feel refreshed and invigorated as the horrible stench recedes. And a slight tint of flowers, of roses specifically,
Roses.
comes out. And and you look down, you see that the right around the king, where is this? While the stain is spread a bit, it's no longer brown, but appears to be multicolored multicolors of the rainbow.
Interesting. When I was detecting any abnormalities, I smelled flowers. I'll turn to Amanda. You are wise in the ways of the woodlands and the forest. Do you know of places around here where flowers are abundant?
Actually, there's no need. I think there'd be no need to roll for this. This is something that's definitely within the woodcutter. Yeah, you're almost absolutely certain the smell was of forest rosebush, the kind of bush you'd find like on the edge of a small stream, on the or deep in the forest.
Hmm.
The chancellor looks up at both of you and down in amazement at the clear signs of magic that have been going on. Says, we've never had such a thing affect the castle before. What is happening? I do not. You too. This must be. You must find out, please, whatever it takes to find out what has afflicted my king. Anything you wish from the kingdom that I can grant. Just, please, I know, and you've done so much, he turns to Amanda, but he will not last like this. We cannot, at least we can tend to him now, but he will not. I do not know how many days he could survive such a thing. I've seen many die of the runs in the past. We cannot. Anything you can do.
Belmont, he'll bow deeply and just say, "Of course, as a friend of the king and his kingdom, it would, of course, be an honor to help His Highness in this trying time. What do you say, Amanda?"
Let's help him. Why not?
Yes, our rallying cry. Why not?
Yes. Oh, thank you. Thank you. what should we? What do we do next? He looks at you, seeming to have more hope now. Something there may actually be some solution.
I'm gonna flip through the book to probably a section that Belmont doesn't read a lot, which is the medicine part, because he's more interested in the magic. It says here, make sure that he's hydrated, so I would stick with water instead of any ale or fine wine for the time being. Make sure he's tended to, and make sure he doesn't stay on these sheets very long. They'll need to be changed. Though I'm afraid I won't be around to help with that aspect.
Yes, of course, but the curse, the magic that has struck him down. I will call the maids. We shall, care for him. But what shall we? You must tell us what's caused this. What can be done?
Yes, well, that is at least what I intend to find out. Once we have that information, we'll bring it back to you.
Please, anything.
Amanda, was there anything else you wanted to know?
Not currently, no.
Ready to go fight something that's causing this curse?
Yes.
All right. That's what I like to hear. Let's be on our way. To make it a little quicker, while everybody is kind of like turned to the king, I'm gonna look to Amanda and just kind of wink at her, like we've done this before, and go to like a shadowed area of the room, and just kind of like step through to bring us to like the downstairs a little easier. Like just kind of like very fast, because this place is very big.
Okay. Yep. You can. I'm not gonna make you roll for that because it's insignificant. Whether you see it or not. So yes, but you step into the shadows and then emerge from the shadows. And where in the castle?
If it's cool with Amanda, I was thinking of to the courtyard so that we can get out, faster.
I'm cool with that.
Yep. So you step out to the shadows in the courtyard. It's still early morning, so there's plenty of shadows in the around the walls. In courtyard, you can see there are people trying to group together. The few stable hands, some of the guard are talking. They're whispering urgently. It's clear that news that something is wrong with the king has started to spread. But the gate is open. They never bother to bar it. If you want to leave, if you have an idea where you want to go, or if you want to talk to somebody in the castle.
Well, Amanda, we have an idea of where we want to go, right? We know you said that the roses were grown near a stream, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're the kind of rose bushes you'd find in a shadowed forest, like the one to the north.
We have a general direction. It may be easier if we had some sort of steed to aid our travel. I don't suppose you could speak to one of the stable hands to see if we could acquire 2 of the horses, could you?
I could try.
Okay.
So I guess we head over?
Yeah, I'll follow behind Amanda.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So you come to the stables. You see that there's only one guy in there now. It's an old man. He's the head stable of the 2. There's only 2 stable hands, and they basically double as groundskeepers. But he's sitting the horses while shouting out into the courtyard, "Get back here and do your job, you young rascal! Just because there's some, you don't get out there and gossip with your girlfriends. Get back here!" And he sees you, Amanda, walk in. looks, it gives you a look, and then blatantly ignores you and turns away to keep shouting out into the courtyard.
It seems rather rude.
I'm just gonna like look around.
So you're in illogically oversized stable. There's room here for a good 40 horses. There's 5. Okay. The ones that belong to the royal family, and then 2 draft horses that are just used for regular, just for kind of stuff around and pulling.
If no one's paying attention, I'll just take one of a few of the horses.
Okay, so you're going to wait till he's not looking, and then just lead 2 of the horses out.
Yeah.
Yep, clever. So roll mentally.
All right. Mediocre.
Okay, so plus 1.
So
So you're not doing well enough that he does not notice you. Now here is another feature of fate. If you don't succeed at something, it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to fail. You could succeed at a cost. So in this case, you could take the horses and get out, but he would see you going and shout out after you, and he would see you basically stealing the horses. Or you can choose just to not steal the horses.
Could I do something to maybe aid Amanda?
Okay, so here's another good another aspect of fate. Okay, so besides overcoming, which is what Amanda just tried, another role you can make is called create an advantage. Basically, you're going to create a new aspect on the scene, or yourself, or another character, or anything really, that you can then use presumably to your advantage in the future. You're making something new true.
Okay.
And you would then get the mechanical advantage of that is that you can use it once for free as if it was a fate point.
Okay.
For a free fate point. So you could, for instance, make it aspect distracted on the on the stable hand. And then Amanda could, with your permission, because you have control over that, you have control over the free use of that aspect. It's true for everybody. Anybody can spend fate points on it, but you can decide who gets to use it for free that one time.
Okay.
So if you create that, then Amanda can take advantage of it. Normally, you would have to create the aspect first, but I literally did not explain that existed to you, so I have no problem with you making it now.
Can I create the aspect on myself to do something that I think would help?
Yes, absolutely.
So I will spend a point. I'm gonna create the aspect, and I guess I'll call it.
Well, you don't spend a point. You roll for it.
Oh, cool. Then I will
roll
do
for
that.
it.
All right. So it's just the 4d6.
Yeah, but what are you trying to do?
I want to basically make, like I said, I gave a general thing of like what the silver circle does, which is just kind of like.
I'm sorry, I just lost you.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Now I can, yes.
Okay. Awesome. So I gave a broad kind of example of what the silver circle, is and what they, what their specialties are. I want to say that Belmont specializes in illusion and kind of enchantment. So I want to create the aspect that he is able to kind of push thoughts into other people.
Yes, absolutely. So you're going to magically. So you're going. So in this case, so what you're describing is you're creating an aspect magically on the stable hand that he is distracted by the thoughts you're putting into his head, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, just the one thing I just want to know is, what does that look like visually? If this was a movie, what would your character be doing?
I think it would look. He kind of like goes onto the. I guess there's some sort of like counter or barrier between him and the the stable hand, right?
Mhm.
So he would kind of lean
There absolutely
in,
can be.
just sort of lean in and say, uh, "I'm so sorry. You must not have gotten the missive. The king has ordered that 2 horses be used to aid in his recovery, and I would hope that you would be more than willing to oblige." And as he says, "oblige," there's almost like a small reverberation, and you kind of see
Okay,
like
yep.
these shaking sound waves kind of hit his head.
Yep. So of enchanting voice. Yep. Okay. So roll for that. It's a difficulty +2.
Okay.
Well,
So let's do that. So that is fair, and then either magically or mentally I have +2. So that's 4.
plus magically. Yep.
So that's 4.
Okay. So you succeed. So you've made an aspect of distracted. Or actually, it almost sounds like obedient on him, right?
I think that would be the better word for that.
Yeah. Yeah. So now, and that means that Amanda can use that aspect to boost her roll. Okay. So I'm gonna create the aspect obedient stable hand, and you too will see this. I created in the it's in the fate. I know anybody watching can't see it, but I just had an aspect in the game with 1 free invoke. So do you want to invoke that, Amanda?
Okay.
Okay. So that would turn your roll from a +1 to a +3. Now he is still remember he's still under the effect of the enchantment, but you can't use it for free anymore. It now costs you fate points to take advantage of it. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But it's still true that he is under the effect of the enchantment. So he turns, he's about to shout when he sees Amanda coming out, when the words settle into his brain, and he goes, "Oh, yes, of course. The Chancellor said," as you lead the horses out of the stable.
Thank you, and as agreed, you will be paid upon the return of the horses. He kind of nods and
yes, paid.
And he nods and heads out.
Mhm.
I'll go to Amanda and say, that one was for saving me back in the forest that other time. I think we're even now.
Okay. All right. So this actually,
okay.
Yep. So you're creating backstory. Good. So let me actually now tell you one last thing about your character sheets. So I left a blank aspect on each of your character sheets. You see there's a third aspect that's blank. At any time during this game, you can fill that aspect in. It has to be something about the relationship between you two.
Okay.
Okay? It's the moment when you fill that in, you immediately get to use it once for free for a +2 or reroll, as if you spend a fate point on it.
Okay, cool.
Okay? So at some point, when something about the relationship between the two of you will help, you make that up, put it in the aspect. It is now true, and you get to use it once for free. Okay? So it could be like in the future, you could say, "You saved me once," and make that an aspect, or something in there, and then use it for free once to do something.
Okay.
Okay, so you set up your horses and head off north into the towards the woods. That's where you're planning to go, right?
Yeah, that's where I'm planning to go, and I'll check with Amanda to make sure that because she's the one that knows the wilderness better.
Yeah.
Yes. So the woods to the north, they are unnamed, referred simply to as the woods or the dangerous woods. But they're a place. The outskirts are filled with bandits. They live there, preying mostly on what little traffic goes up and down the river, but also occasionally raiding, so occasionally stealing sheep, mostly sheep. That's most anybody has out there in the farmlands around. Most of them, in fact, come from the kingdom, and so it's never been possible to get rid of them because they've almost all of them have friends and have family and friends among the sheep herders, and simply fade back in there if anybody ever tries to go out. Also, the kingdom only has 6 guards, so it's a bit of a not exactly enough to go and do hunting, hunt down bandits.
Yeah. Just gonna turn
Okay.
to Amanda and say,
You-
you ever noticed how many sheep are in this place? I mean, it's crazy.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Amanda grew up around here. It's just, that's what it is. There's a lot of sheep. It's like,
I'm just like, okay, there's a lot of sheep.
Just thought it was
But-
interesting.
mhm. So, where does Amanda's family actually live?
I guess just like on the outskirts of the town, like where you can find a lot of sheep and
Okay,
also a lot
so-
of trees.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So they live down in the town, which you are leaving behind, but it's to the west of you. Up here, there's actually fewer people living near the forest, despite the fact that you'd think there'd be a lot of well, there's a lot of trees for starters, but woodcutters don't like to live there because it's too dangerous. Wolves live in the forest. Like I said, humans, bandits live in the forest, but most worrisome of all are the Fae. If you go a little bit too deep into the forest, and suddenly you are in the lands of the Fae. The elves who love to cruelly tease and torment humans, and think nothing of grabbing one and sorceling them for decades or centuries, or doing any sort of cruel jest upon them. That enters their minds. Wise people avoid the Fae. But you're heading up that way. So you've reached on horseback, you reach the edge of the forest within just a few hours. It's not like there's any sudden, massive, edge. You can see there start to be more trees, and then there are a few more trees, and then more trees. Then there's more trees, and there's not trees. And you realize that you are really pretty far. You're now in the edge of the forest. You're going, and it is starting to get a little dark. You're going to need to camp soon. Now, Amanda, that the roses you smelled don't really grow on the edge of the forest. They are something from deeper within. They grow in shallow, shadowed ravines and other places where that have been carved by little streams.
All right.
But you can press on into the night, or you could try to find a place to camp around here.
It's getting rather late.
I guess camp.
If you believe that's wise. I will. Do you mind setting up camp? I'll check to see if there's anybody around.
All right, I'll set up camp.
I will do what I imagine is the inverse of kind of pushing out thoughts, and that's going to be to see if I'm detecting any thoughts basically in the area, to see if there's any people or any creatures hidden from our sight.
Yep. Okay, roll your magically.
Okay. So let me do that. I did it, and I don't think anything... Okay, there it is. So that's a 3.
Yep. So yes, you settle down, you clear your mind, focus upon the secrets of the infinite and the tranquility that comes with true mastery of your own mental landscape, and immediately hear in your mind, chug, 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 chug. And then again, chug, 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 chug.
I'll kind of look around. Did I get a sense of a direction?
Yes, it was louder to the northeastish.
I'll look to Amanda and just say, I don't think we're alone here. There's something nearby in the northeast, and it looks like they're having some sort of party. Well, I should say it sounds like they're having some sort of party.
Yeah, pretty much sounds like that.
Yep. Yeah. So
What should we do?
when you think about it first, now you've had it pointed out to you, Amanda. You listen. You do hear some possibly people shouting in the distance, very faint, but.
All right. Well, what do you think? Think you know these woods better than I. Should we be safe to camp, or should we
Yeah,
go
I don't know
investigate?
these people though. I guess investigate. What else do we have to do?
That's a fair point. I'll head over there.
Okay. So you walk through the woods for a while, northeast, and the sounds get louder and louder, and soon you also see, as the light starts to dim, the clear glow of a campfire. The shouts and the screams have changed from chug to eat, 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 yeah, and laughter. Thanks. And before you get close, before I can tell, there's a good probably 8 or 10 voices raised and shouting and arguing and generally sounding like they're having a great time.
Can we see?
You're getting to the point where you think, even now they're very loud.
I was just going to say, if we were close enough where we can see them, or we still have to keep moving.
You get close enough. You think you're pretty close to them, but the trees are dense. To get a good look at them, you'd have to risk being seen yourself.
Okay.
Can I pull something out of my magical bag of magic tricks? Maybe one of those magnifying glasses, so I can see through the trees or something.
You can actually absolutely try. Roll for it.
All right. Oh, I got poor -1, but I add magically, right?
Yep. So that's a 2.
Magically is +3, so I got a 2.
So that's good enough. You have a magnifying glass that, when looked through, lets you see very small things that are very far away, no matter what's in between. But only small things. So you lift it up and look through it, and you get glimpses of belt buckles and buttons and bits of wine and somebody's fingernail. It's a confusing vision, because you are seeing a tiny little bit at any given time. But it's good to see that you run over and you see a lot of people, and you see people in rough clothes and poorly, boots that are falling apart. But also some, you guys are panning across a very fine goblet, the kind of, like a silver goblet, the kind of thing you'd expect a noble lady to have. and other little, as you keep looking, like I said, you never get a glimpse of the full scene, but the little patch you keep seeing like odds and ends, and just don't seem to fit with this, what would the otherwise seem to be a very rough-hewn bunch of people.
So what do you see, Amanda?
I guess I just explained everything I see here.
Do you think we should?
I see like a goblet, fingernails.
They're very poorly, they're very poorly cut, broken, and with a lot of dirt underneath them.
Interesting. Do you think we should go
It could be the elves.
take a closer look?
Why not?
All right. I will. Let's see. Yeah. So I will try and since I'm kind of used to just sneaking around and going unseen, just stick to the shadows and see if I can get closer.
Okay. Yep. So you roll your mentally as you carefully and pick out the darkest shadows.
Ooh, that's terrible. +2, so that's a 0.
Yes, it is. So that would be a failure if you let's just spend a fate point on it. Now, it doesn't mean you have to. I mean, failure is not always the worst thing.
Yeah,
but,
you know what? I think that conflict makes better story. I will.
Okay.
I'll allow myself to fail.
Okay. So you move forward from shadow to shadow, flitting between them like the darkness that is in your soul. When you come up to the edge of the there, and you can see there's 6 people around a campsite, around a bonfire, and all around them are wine barrels and crates and little and travel chests. And you see, there's one of 4 of the people are men, 2 are women. One of the women is up and dancing around the fire in a very poorly fitting, very fine dress, while the others cheer her on as they chug wine directly from the casks, and we've other there's leaving silver wine glasses lying on the ground. But as you move, get in there, the fire suddenly flares up as a branch collapses in it, and the dancing woman looks right at you and sees you immediately, and raises her arm in surprise. So you've acted, but Amanda, do you want to act in this situation?
Yeah.
What do you want to do?
I guess just say that I'm not an enemy. I'm innocent.
Okay. Roll your socially. And 1 second. And I'm going to bring in a new character.
-3, so a -3 in all.
Okay. Okay, so you shut out your innocence. Everybody turns to look at you. And then as you cut, one of them laughs, and the biggest one slaps his hand on his leg and laughs uproariously. Says, "Looks like we've got new volunteers."
Oh, I'm sorry. Volunteers for
To donate to our wonderful cause, of course. Come. He stands up, and despite the fact that you're sure he's been drinking all night, at least for the last hour or so, he seems to be quite steady on his feet. Come, join us. Sit down.
Does he seem like the person in charge?
He does seem to be, yes.
Can I, because I know you said that we have to do this ahead of time, can I try and give him another aspect?
Well, just tell me what you're doing. Yeah.
Oh, so I want to, I'm going to kind of talk to him in that same kind of enchanting way and say, well, donations are one thing, but you strike me as someone who enjoys a good story, and I'll put the emphasis on the story. And I want to make it so that he values tall tales or tales from distant lands.
Okay, so you want to put an urge into him to listen to your stories.
Right.
Okay, but otherwise you are walking forward and not resisting him.
Yes.
So yes, if you want to do that can be action. Yep. So go ahead and roll. I'm going to roll him to have him oppose you.
Okay.
So this will be an opposed roll. It's basically he rolls and whatever skill or aspect he has applies to approach he has applies to it.
Okay.
Okay.
So let's.
And it compares it to yours.
Okay. So I have. So I rolled a 1, and then I think +2, so that's a 3.
Okay. He also rolled a 1 and is +2 for his skulking and skullduggery, which I'm having him use to defend against this.
Right.
Because he is not going to be distracted easily from his basic desire to steal everything you have.
Makes sense.
But you have tied. What that means is you get a boost, so you'll have a momentary advantage over him.
Okay.
Because of it. Something that won't last. He'll shake it off, but you take advantage of it once.
Okay.
That's the way a tie. When you're trying to create an advantage, if there's a tie, you get a boost instead, a one-time thing. So the situation hasn't fundamentally changed, in the long term, but you have gotten your magic into his mind.
Sounds good.
You can use for momentary things. So let me add a boost to your character sheet. Okay, and Amanda, what is Amanda doing? You've just been invited in a blatantly, in a blatantly insincere way. You've been invited in to join them.
I guess I'll just join them, see what's happening.
Okay.
What could go wrong?
What could go wrong? What goes wrong first, as you go in and sit down at you come in, they're jovial and laughing, though the laughing is clearly mocking. They go snicker behind their hands, like, oh, look at these rubes. They're actually doing it. As you go in to sit down, and one of the women comes up to you and says, "So, what do? You look like you're woodcutter's daughter, huh?
Yeah.
What are you doing out here in the wild woods?"
What aren't I doing out here in the wild woods?
Well, good answer, because what you're not doing right now is you're not getting up and dancing, are you? She winks over your shoulder at one of the men and goes to pull you up. And they're not being effectively subtle. Behind her, you can see the man behind you. You get a glimpse of the man behind you grinning as he reaches for a heavy club he'd left lying on the ground.
I guess I just say I don't want to dance or anything.
Okay, so Suki says, "Oh, come on, everybody wants to dance now, Rufus." Okay,
Yes.
and you hear and then there's a whistling sound of the sound of a heavy club being swung down at your head.
Well, that's
So-
cruel.
We're going to have our first conflict. Okay.
All right.
Now, one thing I want to make clear about Fate Accelerated. Well, this is a conflict. That doesn't mean you have to resolve it physically. Okay? There is mechanically absolutely no difference in Fate between stabbing somebody stabbing somebody, or confusing them, or scaring them, or convincing them that they don't want to fight you. Okay? All that matters is that the conflict gets resolved to one side or the other.
Okay.
You and your opponents all have a stress track. Okay? Let
Mhm.
me do this for the you can continue to overcome things and create advantages, especially creating advantages is huge in a conflict. Okay, just like you could out of it. But there's two new actions involved. Those are simply attack and defend. On your turn, you tell them what you want to do. Okay, and what you want to do is trying to harm somebody to cause lasting damage to their ability to continue the conflict, that's an attack. Like I said, it could be scaring them. It could be getting them confused. It could be could obviously be physically hurting them. It could just be convincing them they don't want to fight anymore. Okay.
Mhm.
They would then decide how they're going to defend against that. You'd both roll. If your roll is higher than the defender's, the defender takes an amount of stress equal to how much better your roll was.
Okay.
That stress then can be absorbed by your stress track. Okay.
Mhm.
You guys have a stress track with a 1, 2, and 3 stress boxes. The 1 stress box can absorb 1 stress. The 2 stress box can absorb 2 stress. The 3 stress box can absorb 3 stress. So in total, you could take 3 stress, but you can only take 3 hits before they're all filled up. Okay. Because even if you don't have a 1 stress box left, even if you only take 1 stress, you have to fill up your 2 stress box.
Okay.
But if you take 3 stress at once, you can fill up just your 3 stress box because it'll absorb 3 stress.
Okay.
Okay. So it's not really a hit point system in that way. If you cannot do that, you have a choice to make. You can either be taken out of the conflict, which means you will have no say in how the conflict ends. Okay? Or you can take a consequence, which will be a lasting damage you've taken, but will keep you in the fight. You can take 3 consequences, 1 mild, 1 moderate, severe, and 1 severe. The mild one will get rid of 2 stress, but isn't really that bad. It's something like getting hit in the head and getting a nasty lump, or being temporarily afraid of spiders because you got bit by one. A mild consequence, and in a campaign they would go away. The mild consequences go away fast. Now in this game, there probably won't be time. There won't be time for it to go away, but in a campaign, it'll be gone by the next session. Okay. Moderate ones are worse and they last longer. They might be like a concussion, or or you are now shamed and everybody's avoiding you in town. Because again, they don't have to be physical. Okay. And then severe ones are really bad consequences that are going to last for a long time and are really bad. Okay. So it's a matter of whether you think the fight's worth it. You could if you take more stress. If you can't take any more stress, you have the choice of either getting injured or being removed from the fight and become ineffective in the fight. And you have whichever side has the last one that has somebody still in the fight gets to decide what the outcome of the fight is. Now, I will, give you a idea what the stakes are in the fight. In this case, if you lose the fight, they will steal everything valuable from you and just leave you lying in the forest. They're not out to kill you.
Okay.
Okay, but they would rob everything you have, and leave you unconscious on the forest floor.
Well, that would be good because of my magic bag of tricks.
Yes, they would take your bag because they would take literally everything. They'd also take the book.
Yeah, I figured.
They don't know they can't read, but they still take the book just because taking stuff is what they do. Okay.
And their aspect love what they do.
They love what they do. Now, there are 6 of them. Each of them can take only 1 stress, and they can't take consequences. They are minor NPCs. So if any successful attack on one of them will take 1 out.
Okay.
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 So I use what's called popcorn initiative. Basically, one person goes first, and then they pick who goes next until everybody's gone. I'm having the malicious men go first because they're starting the fight. They're the ones starting the boat. Then they are attacking Amanda. Well, 3 of them are attacking Amanda, and 3 of them are attacking Belmont. So Amanda first. There's a malicious man bringing a club down upon the back of your head, while the woman in front of you tries to grab you and hold you in place, and you can see another one is coming in from the side, clearly planning to join in the fight. What are you doing?
Can I pull out of my magic bag like a little like smoke bomb that creates like some sort of like cloud that makes it hard to see?
Yep, and you're gonna use that. That's how you're gonna defend yourself by pulling a smoke bomb and ninja vanishing. Absolutely, you can do that. So roll your magically, and they are going to roll their skulking and skullduggery. They get and one of the rules that you can use in this game to just it helps a lot to make things go faster is you can help somebody and just give them a flat +1 instead of doing an aspect. That's what's happening here. 2 of them are helping one of the others. Okay.
All right.
So they're at a +4 total. So they got a poor -1. So they add 4 to that for a total +3.
Okay.
What'd you roll?
In all, I get a 4.
All right. So you in fact successfully ninja vanish in front of them. You pull out a smoke, little pouch of smoke, toss to the ground. Smoke billows out for a moment, but when it clears away, you are no longer in between the 3 of them, and they look around in confusion. Belmont. Now that fighting is brought out, the other 3 abandoned their very bad attempt to pretend that they're not planning to beat you up. One grabs for you to try to hold you in place, while the other 2 move in, clearly planning to just beat you up with their fists. What do you want to do?
I see that there's smoke rising, right? Like just in the general area.
Yes.
I'm going.
There's also the bonfire.
I'm going to try and use the smoke to my advantage to make it look like, because these guys don't look smart, that I've summoned it, and I'm just going to look to them, and I guess this is. I don't know if this is. Maybe it's an attack.
Tell me what you're doing. Yeah.
I'm going to kind of use my magic to change the color of my eyes.
Okay.
And say, "You dare strike the Lord of Thieves, he who has given you the blessing to carry out your heists."
Okay, so you're on this is not your turn. So basically, what you're doing is defending.
Sure.
That's what but you can absolutely defend that way. You can scare them off so they don't actually attack. That's absolutely valid defense.
All right.
But so they're going to roll their skulking and skullduggery,
Okay.
and you roll your magically against it. They got a fair, so total +6.
I got a terrible. I'm going to use a fate point.
Okay, so you can either re-roll or add +2.
I will.
You're a terrible -2 is about where mechanically it's on the fence whether you want to re-roll or do the +2.
I'll re-roll.
Okay, so roll again.
So now total is +3. Because I got an average, which is 1,
Right.
and then +2.
And they had a +6. So you're taking 3 stress.
Okay.
So you can fill in your 3 stress box.
Yep, just did that.
Despite your intimidating growls, one of them shakes and says, "Don't believe him. He's bluffing. Everyone knows that there is no god of thieves. The gods would not let him into the castle." And they come up and start punching you viciously.
Okay.
All right. So you've used up your 3 stress box. But again, stress automatically goes away as soon as the fight's over.
Yep.
So it's not significant until you actually start taking consequences. Okay. So it is now. I will pass it to Amanda first. Amanda, it's your turn. What do you want to do?
I guess I sort of just want to get away from the fight.
Okay, so you just want to
Is there,
escape?
a way I could run?
Yes, you can. So if you want to remove yourself from the fight, they do want. So they do. You can. So the way Fate works, you divide things up into zones, which are basically where people can affect you. However, I think I'm going to do it more abstract on this. If you can overcome the bandits, and you can escape from the fight and remove yourself from the combat. They don't want to let you do that, so you have to overcome them. They will chase you, but you can make an overcome roll, and if you overcome them, you'll escape.
All right, I'll do it.
So how are you trying to escape? Let me know. What are you actually doing?
I guess just running as fast as I can out of there.
Okay, so roll physically, and they will roll their skulking and skullduggeries they pursue.
Can I use the one of the stunts, the foolishly certain of fortune? I get +2 when physically overcoming a dangerous obstacle.
You absolutely can.
Okay.
Yep, they are certainly a dangerous obstacle, and you are physically doing this. So you get +2 on that because you're willing to do things, take chances, jump over logs that they're not.
All right.
Okay.
I just got a fair on the dice.
They got a good on the dice, +3, and they got +2. So they're at a +5. You're at a +4. So right now you will not escape. You would need to spend a fate point if you want to escape.
I'll use the fate point.
Okay. So spend your fate point. And how are you spending that fate point? Which of your aspects or their aspects let you escape?
I'll add to mine.
Well, okay, but which of them? Look at your aspects and look at their aspects and tell me which one lets you escape, even though they are faster than you and are catching up.
I guess I'll make it because because I have the amazing bag of magical tricks, maybe my shoes are super fast or something.
Okay, absolutely. So you spend a fate point, so you're down to 2. And I know you guys haven't gotten any new ones, it just haven't been a chance to hand them out much. I've noticed. So, but you spend a fate point, and your incredible enchanted shoes allow you to speed away from them just as they're about to catch up to you, and you escape into the forest. So you are now you're not. So what I'm going to rule this is you're not out of the fight as such, but you've now gotten away so that they cannot engage you. They can't attack you. Okay. If you choose to come back, you can keep doing more actions, and as long as you don't actually get physically near them and give them another chance, you will not be able to be out of their range to attack. Okay, unless something you do changes that. Now the only person left to go is Belmont. So what do you want to do?
I'm gonna look to the ones who are like holding me and attacking me,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm gonna say, "Do not trust them, for they are not wise. Protect me and save yourself." And I'm gonna try and use the stunt, because Secrets of the Silver Circle, you get +2 when magically attacking another with a subtle enchantment.
Yes.
All right, so I will roll those.
So you're going to try to turn, and I would say, in point of fact, they are particularly bad at discipline and mercy, and so enchanting them to attack their friends is actually very easy. They're going to roll their terrible discipline and mercy, not their skulking and skullduggery.
Okay.
So average +1. They got a total of -1.
So I have fair +2, and then magic, and then I have so a total of 6.
Actually, sorry. So actually, I should not have rolled yet because there's something else.
Oh, okay.
This is somewhat. This is in some versions of Fate, but it's not in Fate. Sorry, but I use it as a house rule basically. If you want to divide that +6, if you want to attack multiple other characters at once, you can divide that +6 among other multiple characters. That makes sense. In this case, it sounds like I can let you divide among 2 because you said of the 2 that are holding you, you're going to provoke them into attacking their friend.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
actually,
yeah.
I let you do a 3 because if you succeed, I can say they take out your friend. So I let you divide that +6 among 3 targets if you want. So basically 3 at +2 instead of +6. Would you prefer to do that?
Yeah, I'll give it a shot.
Okay, so they're going to roll defense 3 times at -2 each. So that's a failure. That's a failure. That's a failure. Yeah, so you did at least 1 stress to 3 of them.
Okay.
The 2 of you are effectively say, yeah, why shouldn't I? I always hated you, Jacob. Oh, bam, and start punch the one next to him. You've taken out 3 of them.
Okay.
Okay. As they descend into a brawl and are not going to be able to contribute to the fight for the rest of the fight.
Can I, as like part of that, because now I'm no longer being apprehended, can I like move away from any others that are there, or do I see that they've started chasing Amanda?
So you can, but not in a way that'll prevent them really from catching up.
Oh yeah, I just want to like start placing myself more advantageously, but I know they'll be able to
right. I just want to say
after.
It just isn't going to have so yes, you absolutely can. It's not going to have a mechanical effect. It's just a story. Okay. Now you have the choice. So it's a new round. You were the last person this round. You can choose either the malicious men or Amanda to go next.
I'm going to choose Amanda to go next.
Okay. So Amanda, you've successfully escaped from the malicious men. You've left them behind, though you are still within range to do stuff. What do you want to do?
I guess once again take something from my amazing bag of magical tricks and maybe take out like a tiny little knife with like wings on it just to like throw at them, and it just like flies over to them and stabs them.
Absolutely. Roll for it. They will defend with their skulking and skullduggery as they are used to knives flying out of nowhere and trying to hit them. They do it to themselves quite often. Okay.
I just rolled a mediocre.
That's okay. They rolled a 4. So that's enough to take one of them out. your little flying winged knife stabs into the side of one of them. They go, oh! They collapse to the ground, bleeding, desperately trying to staunch the wound. Okay, and that one's taken out. Okay, now you have the choice. Well, neither Belmont or the malicious men have acted yet this round, so you can send it to either one of them.
I don't know. I'll just.
I mean, pick one. It's just then whichever one you prefer. You want to flip a coin?
Yeah, flip a coin.
I suppose I don't actually have a coin. Anybody have a coin? All right.
Well,
how about
Dyson,
this?
if it's above 2, like that way.
All right. So it's positive. If it's a positive number, it'll be Belmont, and if it's a negative number, it'll be the malicious men.
Yeah.
Sounds
I
good.
mean,
And if it's
most of that
zero-
have to go eventually.
Yep. Go for it.
You have 3.
Okay. So malicious men go. All right. So now, so right now the 3 around. So the 3 are out there. The 2 left are the judges who have tried to chase after Amanda, didn't catch her. They look around and they can't see her. They can't, she's gone. But they did see a flying knife come out of her, and they look and say, "Sorcerer! He's a sorcerer! He's ensorceling us!" And they take it quick. Take him down. Hold his arms. Break his teeth so he can't shout. He can't cast spells at us. And they jump at you with desperation, trying to bring you down before you can enchant them further.
Okay.
How are you defending yourself?
So the reason that I wanted to move was because I knew that they could come to me, but I was trying to get more strategic ground. I wanted to put myself basically between the the fire, so that way when they came to run at me, I could maneuver in a way that might like trip them up, and some of them hit the fire and hurt themselves.
So you're defending yourself by intelligent positioning, which is a mental defense. Roll mentally.
All right.
They got a fair. They got +2 to skill. There's only 1 actual, so +2. So they got 5 total.
Okay. I'm gonna use a fate point to re-roll. Or I can re-roll instead of add +2, right?
Yeah. Now don't forget, you have a boost. I don't think you've used yet.
I haven't, so I'll probably use that. But I got a terrible, which is -2. So I think if I don't re-roll, I'll be out of the fight.
Yeah, so you can use that boost and re-roll it.
Yeah, so I'll do both of those.
Fate point.
I'll do both of those things. Okay. So that, and then.
So re-roll first to see if you need to use them.
Oh, okay.
Because you don't have to spending a fate point. You always get to check if you're already succeeding or not.
Okay.
Okay, so you have +2 right now. It's a +2 versus a +5. So they're 3 above you. So they're going to do 3 stress.
Okay.
So you could, and you shouldn't have spent your fate point yet. So let me give you back.
Okay, sure thing.
2. Okay. So right now they're going to do 3 stress to you.
Okay.
You can now spend a fate point on one of your aspects or one of their aspects if you like. So it's or you can just take 3 stress, which you can still afford.
But I only have a 1 and a 2 box left.
So you have a 1. Right, which add up to 3.
Oh, okay. But then if I take anything else, it'll be out.
You could take. Then you have to or take a consequence. Right.
Oh, okay, so I'll take the stress.
Okay, so you fill up your 1 and 2 box. So yes, any further stress to you, you're gonna have to make the choice of either consequence or getting taken out.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay. But now it is your turn.
Okay. So then I am going to.
Actually, before your turn, I do want to do a thing. So another thing about fate conflicts is they don't have to end in complete victory for one side or the other. And out of character, anybody at any time when you're not actually resolving a roll who's still in the fight can propose a terms of surrender. And if the other side agrees, if everybody on the other side agrees, then that is just how the fight ends. So
Okay.
in this case, as the GM, I am proposing that having seen their attack fail, the malicious men who remain in the fight turn and flee into the forest, leaving their companions to your mercies. Now you can choose either of you, Amanda or either of you, Stephen or Amanda, and this is an out of character decision. Can decide, no, I don't think that's the way I want the fight to end. Let's keep doing this.
Okay, if it ends that way.
Yeah, I mean that's
Okay.
that's how I wanted it.
And
to
either
end,
of you,
so-
by the way, in future conflict, either of you in future conflicts can, by the way, do the same. Make a suggestion. As long as your character's still in the fight and not taken out, you can always make that offer. As long as, except right in the middle of a roll. You can't do it when you're in the middle of resolving a roll. But any other time, you can make that offer.
Yeah.
Well,
that-
with their
okay.
companions, can I check to see if they have any gold on them
Oh, absolutely.
or anything
Um,
worth of value?
So if you're going to your counter offer, say we do that and we find that they've got money and that we loot their money, and yeah, the remaining two malicious men are perfectly happy with you looting their companions as long as they get away.
yeah,
All right.
Because it's time for them to leave when they must. Okay. So they take a last wild swing, but when they see they can't get to you, they can't get to you, they look at each other, look back at their companions brawling on the side, and their one guy falling over, clutching the knife that stabbed him from nowhere. And then they kick at the take a kick at the bonfire, causing sparks to fly everywhere, and then try to run off into the woods. And the conflict is over. You have succeeded, so you can decide what happens to these four you've got here, and they do have money because that was part of the result. So they are. You realize, in fact, they have quite a bit of money. It's a really surprising amount. And the more you go, you start looking through their camp, you find that they've got that there is a lot of clearly noble goods here.
Yep.
There's an entire chest filled with noble woman's clothing. There is a silver goblet, like you saw on the floor, and a lot of you see what look bag, money bag lying on the ground, just spilling out silver. Not to mention wine that once you've taken a good look at is way too good. Like it's literally a type of wine that is not made in this kingdom.
I'm gonna have the ones that I've basically enchanted to fight each other. I'm
Right.
gonna look to them and say, "Now make yourselves useful. Tie up your friends and then yourself."
Okay, so they've already beat each other half to unconsciousness, so they are very easy to influence, and they follow your things. Like I said, you get to decide. The fight was in your favor. You get to decide what happens to everybody. So that is exactly what happens.
And we'll collect all the
They
stuff.
stare. They tie each other up, and then slowly their eyes start to clear, and they start to struggle. But whenever you look over at their way, they flinch and sort of like settle down. They're obviously too scared of you right now to actually make trouble.
Can I take out of my amazing bag of magic tricks a bowl and then put the wine in the bowl and then tell it to give me more and then just like duplicate the amount of food in it, or well, in this case, wine?
Yeah, you can go for the you have managed to somewhere find a bowl that infinitely duplicates anything you put into it.
All right. I guess I just create more and more wine and then drink some of
Okay.
it.
You are getting very drunk.
Sweet.
It's good wine though. I mean, this is nice wine.
I will
So
walk
you
over.
sit down and start getting yourself very drunk.
All right. I make myself as drunk as possible.
All right.
I see her doing that and kind of like tuckering herself out and saying, "All right," and then I'll kind of go over to the ones that are tied up, and I'll get on one knee to get at eye level and say, "Now, we need to have a discussion." And I'll be quite honest with you. I don't know if I need all of you for this, so I'd suggest everybody be about as forthcoming as you can be. Now,
He is so yep. Look,
uh,
he is helpless. He is scared, and he has absolutely no loyalty to any of his companions. He instantly folds.
these goods, they seem to be too good for your stock, and well, I imagine, and I look and I imagine somewhere there's some sort of like moniker of the of the castle we were just in.
Actually, no.
Oh, okay.
No, none of these seem to be from the castle. 'Cause
Uh.
we took him yesterday. Grabbed him fair and square. What from all those foolish nobles headed north. On the far. Just learned to watch their stuff better. Really. I mean,
And,
really, who goes traveling with only 2 guards?
well, what were those nobles doing heading up north?
Well, I think they're coming up from the castle.
Right, but
Trying to
why?
remember, heading back after that big, heading back home after that big shindig the king had down there.
Do you have
It's
any?
been like duck hunting season here.
Were there any monikers or anything there on the stuff that you took that said who these belonged to?
Well, I mean, I don't know. I guess they got their fancy drawing thing on their clothing and their chest and such. I mean, we didn't care who they were. We just jumped them in the night. Climbed on their boat in the night, knocked them out, and left them in the forest. Took their stuff. We're not.
Can I look on the either like the clothing or anything, and
Sure.
can I see if I know who these would belong to?
You're long far traveled, so yeah, you would. It's the it's the Garlaces, who are a small, a moderately rich, like new wealth family. They're basically, they're the mayorship of a fairly, not terribly significant town, but fairly well off town / small city just north of the forest.
While I was kind of like listening in on secrets and just kind of listening in on conversations in the past couple of days, did I hear about any animosity between that family and the king?
Not specifically.
Okay.
No, I mean, they made the normal catty comments about how poor the kingdom is, and how much richer they are, and the normal basic political puffing and intriguing, but nothing particularly harmonious.
Okay.
Mhm.
I'm gonna look to Amanda, who I imagine is still probably drinking out of her bowl,
Yeah.
and say, Amanda, do we need some people to watch our things, carry our stuff in this travel, or do we not need these people anymore?
I just drunkenly say no, we don't need anyone.
Well, you
Surprise,
heard
fear.
you heard her side of the argument. Yeah, any counter?
look, we can help you. Look, hey, we can tell you don't want to run to Robin, right? We can tell we know where Robin is. We can tell you how to get around from him, and we can tell you where we drop those knobs off. Yeah, I mean that would get you in good, right? Get you in good with them. Go and rescue them. I mean they must still be wandering around in the forest helpless, right?
Do I know who Robin is?
Actually, you wouldn't. No,
Okay.
you wouldn't particularly.
So I'm gonna just say, pretending I
Amanda
don't
would.
know who Robin is. Who is that exactly?
Just he's like the big guy, the bandit, the boss.
Ah, of course. I think that would be sufficient information. You'll leave all of these goods here so that they can be returned to those who it belong to, of course. But you'll be...
Well, yes, of course. Yeah, of course. Proper civil servants are us. Yeah,
That's what I like to
absolutely.
hear.
What do you even think?
I tussle his hair, say, of course. Are these terms agreeable to you, Amanda?
Yeah. I just say that still drunk.
Well,
My character is so drunk I can't. My character is like, what? Yes, what?
well, you heard her, and that word is law. So, I will begin untying them. I will give them a weapon between what is it? 6 of them? 4 of them?
4 of them left here. Yeah, one of them is bleeding out. I don't know if you want to save him or not. You can.
Yeah, I'll.
It's not really that bad of a stick. He just got stuck by a dagger in this.
Yeah, so
like a letter opener sized.
I don't even think I'm using magic at this point. I think I'm just like reading from the book and just like kind of paint by numbers stitching. And I'll,
okay, yep.
I'll give them like a dagger between the 4 of them, basically, so that like they couldn't attack anybody else or us if they wanted to, but they won't get attacked by like an animal or something.
Right.
And say, remember this kindness when you see other travelers. Also, and I'm going to create, or I'll attempt to create an aspect in them, fear of magic, by kind of doing the same thing, like changing the color of my eyes and saying some sort of gibberish that doesn't mean anything. But I'm going to look at them and say, I've now marked you. Should you ever rob any other nobles or travelers, I will know, and you will be turned into rabbits.
That's why I say, yeah, we know, we remember, we guys. And one of them says, "Damn, I have to go back to the farm."
Yes, you'll have to go back to the farm.
But the cows, I don't.
Then be
there's gotta be something else I can do. Maybe I should go make something
There's like
myself.
50,000 sheep in this kingdom. And with that, I'll kind of push them off.
Drive them off.
But first, I'm going to get the information on Robin and where the nobles are.
Yeah, so they left They left the nobles about a few miles north, right on pretty actually. Like they dumped them off pretty deep in the forest. Places not quite at the edge, not quite with like where the elves are known to live, but pretty close. While Robin is on the other side of the river. I told you he's been watching, and apparently he's been collecting tolls from the nobles going north.
Would we be able to get these nobles and like get back before we have to go to sleep, or because basically I don't want to leave a bunch of valuables out in the middle of the woods, but I also don't think we can like carry all of this stuff to them.
It's probably a good at least half an hour to where they left them.
Okay, half an hour. I think.
And it is dark now.
Okay,
you started this fight at dusk, so it's dark now. If they're exactly where they were left, then you might be able to find them tonight. You probably find them tonight, but you'd have to hunt them. If they moved at all, you'd have to hunt them down.
I'm gonna look to Amanda and say, I don't know about you, but I think that we should give this back to the people who own them, and who knows, maybe they'll give us something, maybe they won't. But
okay, So
All right, I agree.
But you know these woods better than I do. Should I keep camp here and make sure nothing happens, and you go out and find them and lead them back here?
Yeah, why not?
all right, so let's say I was going to offer. So I can say so. You are both. Amanda's both drunk and foolishly certain of her fortune.
Yep.
So I was going to offer you a fate point to go out and go hunt for these lost nobles in the dark in the middle of the enchanted woods.
Oh, let's do it.
All right, so I will give you a fate point for this clearly, not optimal decision. Oh, by the way, all your stress clears.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, the conflict's over, all stress goes away. So you and just to be clear, it will get you in trouble, Amanda.
All right.
But you get a fate point for it, for going out into trouble.
Well, as long as I'm getting it.
So you stumble north you head north into the woods, still sipping from your little bowl until it runs out, which magically it never does. So until you got to, you're pretty sure you found the place that they're talking about, because you come up upon the riverbank, and you can see where you're pretty sure the fight happened, because you can see where a fairly decent sized boat was pulled up on shore, and then there's signs in the mud, river mud, of the scuffle. And they said they left the nobles a little bit farther into the woods from here. So you head deeper into the woods, and a little deeper, still seeing no signs of them until you come across some cut ropes just dangling on a branch. And then you see another cut rope dangling on another branch just a little farther in, and another cut rope after that. And without making the really obvious suspicion that this is really strange, you continue to follow the ropes until the next morning, until Belmont. It's been a good 2 hours, and Amanda has not come back.
He's going to kind of look at all the stuff that is around. He'll attempt to first make an illusion around the camp to make it so that if anyone passes by, they're just going to keep on walking.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And then
so tell me describe it like we're seeing it happen.
So he has the book, and he places his hand over the cover again, and instead of the silver circle, the purple eye glows a little bit brighter.
Mm-hmm.
To kind of show like the two different schools of the magic. And he waves his hand over, and like if you were looking at the camera from like my point of view, as the hand passes over, you see like the bonfire and like all of the the chests and stuff like that. And as his hand passes over, it just becomes forced. Like it almost looks like a mirror is there, and you're just seeing like a reflection of like other parts of the forest.
Awesome. Yep. So there's no reason you should fail at this, so you succeed. If a person who has some way to pierce illusions would look for it, I'd make you'd roll against them. But at this time, you just succeed. There's no reason you'd fail.
Right. And then I'm not as good of a outdoorsman or hunter as Amanda is, but I saw the general direction she stumbled, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna kind of run in that direction, and I'm going to, not like immediately, because I don't think that would be useful, but like when I get to the spot where they kind of described and where I think she's going, I'm gonna start doing that thing where I start listening in for other people's thoughts.
Okay.
And just follow the one that sounds like whatever the equivalent of "I want to drink more" is.
Yes. So Amanda, you are following these. You are seeing this. You keep coming up, and you keep finding a strip of rope, little frayed bit of rope, but never a person. And you see another frayed bit of rope, and never a person. What are your thoughts like as you follow these this trail of ropes.
Just like dedicated, just like I'm gonna do this.
Okay, so that is what you hear, Belmont.
Okay.
Somewhere to the northwest of you, and getting fainter, clearly moving away from you. Is
So
Amanda's thoughts. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this.
sprint in that direction.
Okay. Roll your physically to see how good if you catch up before something happens to Amanda.
Okay, let's do that. Mediocre, so just flat 0.
So no, you do not catch up before something happens to Amanda. So Amanda,
Yeah.
you are going forward when you reach for one of the ropes, and this one, I'm going to say, you assume you've been like collecting them as you go past, just because they're there, wouldn't you? But this one, your hand reaches for it, and it just dissolves as your hand goes through it, like a mirage, and disappears in little flecks of sparkles that drift down to the floor. They're very pretty.
I
They're
just
extremely
say,
pretty.
ooh, pretty.
Right. Yes, and you bend over and look at them to see how incredibly pretty they are. And then you're like, you should really be looking closer. You should like sit down. Take a very good look at these little sparkles on the ground. Just sit down here. It's a nice place. It's a good place. It's a pretty place. There's even this there's even music around you. This tinkling and this like flute of the wind through the leaves, making this sound. Okay, so out of character, you are being ensorcelled.
All right.
How do you want to defend yourself?
What ways can I defend myself?
Any way you can think of. Now, you could just be lucky, because you probably magic is just being luck. You could think your way out of it. You could
Punch some leaves.
if you had a reason to. Yeah, if you come up with a good reason. You could have your thoughts stray to true love, because you do have that thing that lets you automatically. This you may, if you want to use it now or instead of save it for later, it's up to you. So any way you can think of to defend yourself.
So since I had like that thing earlier that was supposed to make something vanish, maybe I can just use that again.
I'm not sure what you're referring to actually. Sorry.
The thing during the fight where I disappeared. I don't know. Oh wait,
Okay.
can I technically just close my eyes and just like be like, no, this is not real?
Yes, you absolutely can.
I'll do that.
So roll your mentally.
All right.
I will bring in the new NPCs.
Okay, that's a +3.
Okay. Oh, I forgot to add the thing to roll here. 1 second. Okay. They got a +3 also. So you have a tie. So they will get a boost to their next action against you. You close your eyes. You feel the and you realize it's like, no, this is not right. This is not real. I shouldn't be this fascinated by just a bunch of little glitter. I've got tons of glitter. I've got piles of glitter in my bag. But you still have your eyes closed as they approach. So they get a boost to their action. Which I think, but you are conscious, you are still aware enough to hear their malicious giggle as one of them reaches out to pull your hair.
Well, that's rude.
And drag you down to the ground. You're going to be. They're dragging you down by your hair and looking to bind you up. How long is your hair?
Not super long, but like.
Okay.
medium, I guess.
Yep. So they grab it, and then you can, as they drag you down, you can feel more hands coming up as if they're going to tie them together with what you feel is rough rope, very much like the one you've been following. Okay.
All right.
They rolled. Now, how are you defending yourself against this?
Just like trying to run away again.
Okay. Roll physically. They got a +3.
I got a mediocre.
So +1. So they beat you, but no physically, no +0. They beat you with style. So they have created a new aspect that they have a tied up Amanda. And they actually get 2 invokes on this because they succeeded with style. Okay. So you are trussed up like you're a pig ready to be ready to be eaten. And then they lift you up, and with joy and laughter and happy song, they run off with you into the woods.
Okay.
Belmont, you are falling behind. When you hear happy, joyous laughter as if children around a playground are chasing each other around the swing sets up ahead of you. And through it, you also hear Amanda, the voice of Amanda, shouting out. It must be happiness, right? And joy. What else could there be? What do you want to do?
Can I still hear Amanda's thoughts?
Yeah, why not? Amanda, what are you thinking right now?
These people suck.
Okay.
Well, now I know that there's people, like there's more than one person. I am going to, let's see. I think I'm gonna try and work on. So, like I said, the Silver Circle is primarily about like illusion and like enchantment magic. But I think part of what made me leave kind of the circle is working on some other types of magic. So one of the things I'm going to try and do is basically jump from, the shadow to shadow, as I've been basically just like been blending in like, just as a normal person. But I'm kind of going to try and do that to like leap from different shadows to try and like catch up faster.
Okay. Yep. Roll on that. I'm giving up +2.
Okay. So that's 0 + 2.
Okay, so you do succeed. So you are able to speed up and catch up to them at the last moment. As they run forward, you catch up to them just as they enter a large clearing before they can actually do anything. And you see it in here is a large clearing with lights floating at each side, and lots of like glowing little globes suspended in air. In the center lies a large stag against with a fae, a man about 5 feet tall with a long, drawn, narrow face, and wearing extravagant clothing made of leaves and silk and leather. Lounging against the stag as if it's a throne. All around him are other other fae, stand much shorter, 4 feet tall at the most, but dressed in their own finery, but of clearly lesser quality. And as you go towards the center, they become dressed less and less well. until at the very edge they're barely clothed at all in just scraps of leaves and mud. But just as the three Fae who are carrying Amanda are stepping into the clearing, you catch up and come out right behind them. Amanda, you see Belmont just materialize out of the shadows right next to you, and everything I just described.
Okay. I'm just like, what? I'm still drunk, right?
You are drunk, and you're hanging from a pole.
All right.
Okay. And I'm next to her right now.
Yes.
Can I? Let's see. Okay. Can I take one of the like the daggers that we took from the bandits and try and cut her loose?
Yes, you can. Roll physical.
Okay.
And you will roll against their cruelly malicious.
That's terrible.
And they did pretty well. Yeah, so you go move in to cut it, but even though very surprised by your appearance, the Fae are much faster than you. They step sideways and laugh mockingly as you stumble and almost fall to the ground in front of them. And then all of them go quiet. And as the Lord in the middle stands up and looks at you and says, "What is this? The king sends more interlopers into my forest. Has he not learned his lesson yet? Must I bring him lower?"
So it's you that's caused this curse.
Who are you who enters my domain? Speak quickly, and I will, and your punishment will be lesser.
They call me the Stranger. A pleasure.
Well, you're a strange one, certainly, but it's not a pleasure. I've had enough of you disgusting humans tramping into my woods. Sent by, your king should know better.
And what is it that this king has done that has brought your ire?
Done? Wedding his... Done? Done? He's done like you. He knows that you should not be trespassing. He's let you trample your foul mortality into my forests without our invitation. Well, we will have our fun with you. We shall take what we want from you, and he will suffer for his rudeness.
Can I? So I want to try and give him an aspect, and the way I'm going to do that is by, kind of the same enchantment. Basically, I want to make him, more shrewd by just saying, well, I for one, as someone who has traveled these lands a great deal, understand the desire to keep what is yours and to exclude those that you feel don't belong in your presence. Trust me. But you also strike me as someone who is a bit wiser than the mortals that you seem to strike low. Tell me, the reason that we are here is to investigate the curse that has brought down the king. Your goal was to stop people from coming into the forest. So by your actions, you've caused more people to come in does that seem like the actions of a wise king? Or does that seem like the actions of a petty mortal?
Why should the wise king concern himself with the foolishness of rats?
Well, you have a goal in mind to stop people from coming. It's clearly not working.
I found perhaps that there could be some amusement. I did not in this. After all, you've come, and now we have you.
No,
And he
no.
moves, holds his hand up, and this lovely dish for us, waving at Amanda. So Amanda, you've been flying there, upside down on the pole. When you get jostled again, they start moving forward towards the center, towards the center of the clearing.
So I'm still just hanging here, just like,
Well, until you do something about it, yeah.
right? I guess I'm gonna take my flying knife from before and just like cut myself down.
Okay, yeah. You try just lost the flying knife. So has it been like following you like a puppy this whole time, or did you gonna try to knock it out of your
pretty
pocket?
much.
What's the?
I pretty much just put it back in once like I could.
Okay, so you go and you gotta try to get your flying knife to fall out so it can cut you loose. Roll your magically.
All right.
They will roll to notice that because they do enjoy your suffering, so they are paying attention to you as they around. So.
All right, I got 2 in all.
Yeah, they got a great they got +6 in all. Sorry, they had a fantastic roll. They rolled a great. So one of them, the knife comes out of your pocket. One of them, they shout in surprise as it flies around. And then it comes flying towards you. But one of them reaches out and grabs it by the hilt. And while it's still struggling in its hands, they've got it held. But it goes, magics. The mortals are using magics. And the king turns to us and narrows eyes and says, who are you, stranger?
I've given you my name already. It's the moniker of which people call me. What is your name?
Then you simply should call me king.
Yes, it is.
So, you have come here on behalf of the vermin king who lives to the south.
Oh yeah, I was trying to do the directions. Where we came from the south.
Okay, south, yeah. And after having seen the night, his demeanor does seem to have changed a little bit. Seems like he's paying a bit more attention, taking things a little bit more seriously than he was before. A little more interested than he was before too. Come, well then, is that why you've come? You wish me to raise my curse, to forgive the trespasses that have been done unto me, and the insults that have been leveled against me?
By insults, do you mean the existence of mortals in your forest?
Oh yes. Even now, your stench is traveling everywhere, and many of the Fae around you dramatically hold their noses and gag at you, while others just titter.
Oh, well, I mean, what do you think I have to deal with? And I'm going to kind of snap my fingers and make an illusion of myself as the king, but with like large buck teeth, boils, hair falling out. This is what I have to look at.
He throws his head back and laughs, says, fine then. I will give you a chance to earn forgiveness. just sit down with me. Let us play a game.
Can I detect his thoughts to see if he's being truthful, like if there's any chance of us actually winning?
They're going to try to magically detect his thoughts?
Yes.
Okay. Roll your magically.
Okay. Let me get to that.
He will defend also magically.
So that's a 3.
He also has a 3. So you are able to get the briefest sensation of his thoughts, and you realize you have the momentary impression of an immense that he is of immense bored and cruel person who looks at you and as you see his own impression of you in his mind and you don't even register as not a person but a toy.
Okay.
And he goes and sits down. Sit down. We would not want this to become rude, would we?
Belmont will smile, kind of giving away that he has an idea of what's up, and say, "No, of course not."
Well then, a simple game then, with simple stakes. We will dice. You are okay, and if you should win, I will graciously forgive your king for the insult of yourself and the others. If you should lose, why I do not wish to have mortals, and I shall let that mortal part of yourself go.
Seems like a fair game, and I assume that there are to be if we are to win, you would also ensure our safe passage as well.
Certainly, no harm will come to your bodies.
And of our minds?
Well, what little there is of it, he looks over at Amanda. What little of it remains.
Oh. Well, you are quick-witted, I'll give you that, for a king of a small forest. I accept.
Okay.
Are these terms agreeable to you, Amanda?
I'm hanging upside down. Of course, they're agreeable.
So, yes, of course, your companion with the fascinating knife may join.
I want to create an aspect between.
Well, let's wait a second.
Oh,
so,
sure
are you
thing.
guys agreeing?
Yes, I am.
So, we are entering a conflict.
Okay.
Okay, I will get rid of the tie of Amanda. He will let you loose. Okay. And he sits. The king sits down. Like I said, using his elk as a throne, while you are set down upon the dirt in the clearing. And he pulls out a simple cup, clear, looks like it's made of glass, in which are 2 dice. He smiles. Here, let these represent the insults the king has made against me. And he brings out 5 walnuts. And let this represent yourselves. And he passes each of you a single walnut. We shall gamble. Yes?
All right.
Okay, so you're in a conflict now. I'm going to first. There's an aspect on this conflict. It is blatantly unfair. Okay.
Okay.
Just starting with the fact that he has given himself 5 walnuts to gamble with, while each of you have received only 1. The stakes in this are that if you lose, he intends to pull your magic from you and release only your mortal parts
Okay.
out to leave the forest. If you succeed, he is bound to forgive and release the curse on the king. And okay. So he raises the cup, holds it, shakes it, so you can see the dice rattling inside, and puts it down and slams it down into the dirt and lifts it up. And you can see that he has rolled a 7. Now, I don't know if you've played this game before. It's called by many names. We simply call it the game. Some of the less cultured have called it liar's dice. All you must do is take the dice, roll them, and look and tell me truthfully, if you are not brave, how many you've rolled, but each of any number you've rolled. But you must always claim more than the past, unless you're willing to give up a walnut. If you are called, you will of course also lose.
Okay.
If we catch you in a lie. I have rolled, and he looks down, 1 5. And looking at the dice, you can see he hasn't. The dice do look like he hasn't rolled a 5 and a 3. I don't know if either of you, out of character, have ever played liar's dice.
I
Nope,
haven't,
that's
but
Monster Cheetah.
It's also you've seen
understand
it's also in the Pirates of the Caribbean movie. They don't call it there. I forget what they call it exactly, but basically the rules of the game are that you take any number of dice. Well, sorry, you're supposed to take in the real game, you roll 6 dice. In this game, you're allowed to roll any number you want. Then you must claim having rolled a certain number of, X, like 5 of 3 of number 3. You must always be escalating. If you can either increase the number, say like if he said 1 5, you could say 1 6, or you could say 2 1s or 2 3, as long as it goes up.
Okay.
Okay. Now, however, what isn't normal is he's playing with a clear cup, so everyone can see the dice.
Okay. And we are not playing with a clear cup, or we are as well.
No, you are. He's handed you the clear cup,
Okay.
and there are 6 dice lying in there. You can roll as many as you wish.
Okay.
So this is a conflict. So to win this, you're going to have to stress him out of the game.
Okay.
No fair way to win this game.
Could you repeat that last part? Sorry.
There is no fair way to win this game.
Could we try and create situations that would make it fair for us to win?
Sure, absolutely. But as it is laid out now, it is absolutely impossible for you to win fairly.
Okay. I'm
Just
going
trying to say right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to look to Amanda and just kind of like look at her cup as well, because we each have a cup, right?
No, you're passing a single cup around.
Oh, okay. So who has it now?
You do.
I'm gonna just touch the brim of it as black shadows swirl on the inside to make it opaque, and say, "A game's a game, right?"
Absolutely. But you wouldn't be manipulating the dice, would you?
Well, I have no need for that, as long as everybody else is playing fairly.
Yes. He smiles. Of course. So
Uh,
you want to create an aspect of a clouded so you want, it sounds like you want to make an aspect of a clouded cup,
yes.
right?
But basically only on out, like once it goes to him, I'm gonna, release the cloud.
Okay.
Or is he gonna take that as, or I guess I wouldn't know how he would take that.
No. But yeah. So why don't you just create the aspect? You can always drop it anytime.
Okay,
You can always,
so
so this is so aspects can be removed if it makes sense for them to be removed. So if somebody else wanted to remove it, they'd have to overcome your magic.
okay.
But you can remove your own magic at any time.
Okay. So I don't know how to add an aspect on this.
You would roll. You are not nobody's. So he's not directly like stopping you, but he is going to try to use his own magic to pierce the shadows.
Okay.
So I'm going to make you roll against his magic.
All right.
Okay. The shadow will be there either way, but the question is if the King of the Fae is able to pierce your illusion.
Okay.
Okay. So he's going to roll a total +5. He's good at this.
Okay. I think he beats me.
What'd you roll?
I rolled a all in all 3.
Yes. So the shadows swirl around the glass, but as you go to put your dice in, the king smirks at you, and you are sure that that his eyes are piercing your illusions.
Okay. So now how do I actually play?
But so you roll and just put it down and say a number.
Okay.
So to be clear, the actual game is secondary here.
Right. So
You
I
can
will,
say. Mhm.
so I will roll and whatever numbers, I'll tell the truth and say I got 1 3.
Okay, well, it has to be higher than 5.
Oh, sorry, 1 6. Excuse me.
Yep. And he looks at you, smiles, and does not call.
And I will pass the cup over to Amanda.
All right.
So Amanda, what is Amanda doing?
Considering my character is drunk and my character probably would have no clue how to play this, just like I have no clue.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna say a random number. Maybe like 2 6s after like
Okay.
I roll the thing.
Yep. And
Pretty
you
much I'm
can't
just
actually.
saying random things.
Yep.
with
Okay.
No intention.
So is the intent to stress out the king, and to cause him harm? That actually is a perfectly. I think that's a valid attack if you want to attack him,
All right.
because he does not take well to people not taking his game seriously. So roll your luck. So of luck. So I'd say you're going to take advantage of your luck here, which is your magic, because you are, 7th child of a woodcutter. Roll your magic. I'm going to roll against his mentally, which he has no advantage on.
All right.
So he got a
Use the
mediocre.
normal 4 times roll.
Yep.
Okay, I got fair. Plus my
Actually,
So I think you
magic.
got 5.
you got a 5. You did very well. He goes, you take this seriously or do not play at all. You haven't even looked. I know you can't see through the shadows. I call your bluff. But then you lift up the cup and there are in fact 2 6s underneath. And he curses and says, trickery. But under the ropes of him, he, with very ill grace, takes one of his 5 walnuts and tosses in the fire. He's taking 5 stress. Is he going to eat that? I think I'm gonna spend one of my lover of games. That actually makes he takes. I think yeah, he will. I will spend one fate point of my. By the way, I get equal to number of players.
Yep.
So I have two. He can spend one fate point on his lover of games, because even though he's annoyed that you have that his call was false, he does enjoy the added thrill of there being an actual challenge here. Okay, so I'm spending one of my 2 fate points to reduce it to a 3 stress hit. So all he has to do is fill in his 3 stress box.
All right.
Then it goes around to him. He lifts it up, and yes.
As it goes to him, I remove the magic.
Okay. He smirks at you. So that is he swirls it around like he's mixing, like he's mixing a drink, and pours in all 6 dice, turns it upside down, and slams it on there, and you see that he has rolled 6 ones. And he looks up at you and smirks. 6 ones. Daring you to challenge his bluff. Challenge him. He is making a socially attack on he's annoyed at Amanda right now. He'd make a socially attack on Amanda, daring you to call his blatant bluff.
Because I roll?
Yep, you can see that he does not have. I'm sorry. I think I messed up when I was saying it before. No, you see that he has rolled 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, but he's called 6 ones. So how are you defending against this? He is clearly baiting you to call him.
I guess I'm just gonna no. I don't know, just socially defend myself.
Well, but what are you actually doing? So, just you have to describe.
Yeah, right.
Okay, so you don't believe you. So you're gonna say yeah, right, and dismissive and like as dismissively as you can. Try to. Okay, roll your socially. He's rolling his socially at +5. You rolled 4, so you got a 4 total. What was your roll?
Well, the first time I rolled, I got fair, and then I got a poor. So I don't know. Either way, I think I failed.
Well, but I didn't know how much because he is attacking you. This is an attack.
Oh, my social. If you got a 4, then my social is 0. So either way, I lose.
Yeah, but it matters by how much.
I think she got a 2 total because it's 2 + 0.
Okay. So you got 2. So someone says, child, what do you mean? Clearly I have what I say here. And he lifts the cup up, and it's like you blink your eyes, and there's not what you see. There's not what you would see in a second before. There are in fact 5 ones underneath.
So we changed them.
No, what? No, I changed. No, I've not touched the dice in any way. You accuse me. You cannot. You accuse me of cheating.
Yes, I do.
Really? Well then. Tell me, Mike. Tell me. We are surrounded by many eyes. Have I cheated? I'm going to say, oh, no. Entirely fair. Not the slightest touch upon the dice. No, not at all. He turns and smiles back just to see. I'm afraid that I would need to take I'm afraid that you have lost. So you're going to take, so this would be, you had a 3. Sorry, you had a 2. So you're going to take 3 stress and will be not be able to roll anymore. but are not out of this. You could still do things to influence the outcome.
Can I
Okay.
say that why don't we do a rematch with a different set of dice, and then I pull out my dice from my bag of magical tricks and that are actually like rigged so I can win?
Well, on your turn, you can.
All right, I'll do that on my turn.
Okay. So you take 3 stress and are forced to give up your walnut. So you're not rolling the dice anymore. Okay. And then it is you can do that now if you wish before Belmont rolls.
All right, then I will.
So that's what you're doing. So you're going to bring out a pair, you're going to pull out some rigged dice,
Yeah.
and you're trying to convince him that he ought to use them instead of her. That would be a socially roll.
All right.
Because it's not that you don't have magical dice, it's that you have to convince them to let you use it. And you're doing it by talking.
All
Okay.
right, I just rolled a 4, but so can I use a fate point? The fate point?
Yes, you can. Let me see what he rolls first. I'm gonna see if he detects the magic. He has a 4. So you need you have to spend a lot of fate points to actually be able to use your loaded dice.
Then I'll use them. Why not?
Okay. So tell me what aspects you're doing to use these. So you could obvious ones are amazing bag of tricks.
Yeah.
You could take advantage of his aspect of being a lover of games.
Yeah. So I'll use those 2.
All right. And what the third one, what aspect are you going to use? Take advantage of to make him accept the loaded dice.
What's his other thing, or is that his only one?
He is Enchanting Fairy King and Lover of Games. The game itself has the aspect of blatantly unfair. And there are the nobles also around whose aspects is Fey nobility, and also cruelly malicious and maliciously cruel.
I mean, technically, I can use the true love to be like, I want to get myself out of the situation so I can find the true love at some point.
Okay. Sure. Yep.
All right.
So use up all your fate points to create the aspect of favorably loaded dice.
Yeah.
They can use once. Okay, but yes, the dice are now loaded in your favor, Belmont. So
Okay.
both story-wise and for mechanically, you can take advantage of that.
Okay. So it's my turn now?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm gonna look, kind of do the same thing. Actually, I'm not gonna tap the glass again. I want it to be clear, and I'm going to look to Amanda and say, I don't know if it's wise to call our guest a cheater. I'm not sure if he's smart enough to understand how to cheat. And I'll put the thing down, and it's loaded. And I'm gonna say, so it's loaded to be 6 6s. So it's
Okay.
gonna show 6
So-
6s, and I'm gonna say that, and I'm gonna say, I mean,
6 6s.
yes, and I'm gonna say, surely, if you don't think this is the case, you can call me on it. But I don't know if you need me to explain the rules of the game to you, I can do that.
Okay. So is this going to be an attack?
Yes.
And okay, attack against his mentally. This is so you're using a social attack against his mentally.
Oh,
That's what I
okay.
understand
I was
from
trying to do mentally, but yeah, socially works.
This is a socially. Yeah,
Sure
no,
thing.
you're trying to get him, but basically neither of you get advantages. Neither of you have. He is not particularly smart, and you are not particularly social. So both of you are rolling a +0.
So I got a fair +2.
He is an average +1. Now, do you want to push this with fate points?
Yes. So
Which aspects you're going to call on that?
So, let's see. I want to. I want to call on the Fey nobilities, maliciously cruel, because I want to see them, kind of like egging them on to, to call me on my, obvious bluff.
Okay. Yep. Absolutely. They are absolutely happy to pitch in and start, even against their own king, do cruel, catty comments. Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I have one more fate point, but I'll keep it for now.
Okay, so that brings you up to, so you're going to do 3 stress to him.
Yep.
He'll take it. He's now fully stressed up. The next stress he takes, he has to either choose to take his 1 consequence or concede the conflict.
Okay.
So you can see, he entered this game with smiles and looking forward forward to humiliating you too in his blatantly unfair game. But now his brow is drawn angry. He's got a frown on his face. And he's clearly starting to lose his temper. He says, call. And you lift it up and says, this is fine. You win this minor bit, but you cannot keep will not happen again. He reaches over, grabs the dice, rolls them, slams them down, and says, "Ha." 6 5s.
Is he attacking someone, or is it someone's turn?
Not yet.
Okay.
But then it says, and you can see clearly through the glass that there are 6 5s. He then passes the glass onto you when nobody calls him.
Okay.
You roll, and as they rattle around, you slam it down, you look down, and you see 6 6s again.
Okay.
Now, he is magically fooling your senses, provoking you to call the 6 6s. So this is his attack.
Okay.
He's making a magical attack. How are you defending against this attack? This illusion that is over your...
I'm going to, let's see. I think I'm going to kind of counteract with my own magic to, like if we were, looking at it, basically just, he's doing something to the dice. I snap my fingers and the dice look exactly as they should.
Okay.
So let me do that.
So magically versus magically.
Yep.
You got +2.
I have 3 total.
Okay. So he passed them over, and the entire so you canceled the illusion?
Yes.
But in front of everybody in the entire watching, the dice blatantly blur and shimmer and then dissipate. You see you've made a perfectly average lucky roll. And he frowns and looks up at you and says, "That roll did not count. I saw you tilted your wrist. Reroll." In a clearly, transparent attempt to not get called on a disillusion.
Oh.
All right, so either of you can act next. Amanda or Belmont. What do you want to do next?
I'll let Amanda act first.
Yep. So Amanda, what do you do? So Belmont is going to be re-rolling unless he decides to accuse the king. What do you want to do first before then. Amanda?
Oh, let's see.
Did we lose her?
It says she's still here. Amanda, you here? For now, until she comes back, I can act.
Yep.
Here, let me just get
Oh,
this.
my thing was had a mute thing.
Oh, not a problem.
Okay,
So if you want
problem.
to act first, you can.
All right, what should I do?
Well, you need to stress out the king. There's no fair way to win this game. So you're gonna have to somehow make the king break the rules or stress him out. So what do you want to do?
I guess I'm going to. Wait, is it my turn in the game right now?
No, you don't. You're out of the game. Remember, you lost your only walnut.
Okay.
That doesn't mean you can't affect things because, like I said, the game is
Yeah.
is not how you can win.
I guess I might try to like take away one of the king's walnuts without him knowing. Just
Okay.
to bring it even more.
Yes. So you're going to try to steal the walnuts. How are you going to manage this so that nobody sees you?
Is my knife?
Do it.
Is my flying knife still like available? Or did it just
Yes.
get taken?
Yes, it is. It's still
I'm gonna
available.
try to get that. Just like stab one of the walnuts and just come flying back to me.
Okay, roll your magic.
All right.
And let's see who would notice that.
Right. In all three.
You know what? Nobody's any particular thing that would help them defend against this. So it's just gonna be straight up mentally for him to notice it. And he's poor mentally, so +0. Oh, so what are you mechanically attempting to achieve here? Are you trying to attack him? Like you want him to notice this or damage him to, stress him out about this?
I just want
Or do you want to set up advantage?
I just want to get rid of the nut just so like when he
Okay.
finally realizes he's
Mhm.
gets sort of confused.
So to hit him in the future. So this will be creating an advantage then. Yep.
Yeah.
So, all right. So you create an advantage of what you rolled a +3.
Yeah.
You rolled a 0. So you create, and you have succeeded with style. You create an advantage of missing nuts with 2 free invokes on it. So it is now your turn. It's now Belmont's turn. And I do want to suggest you now have 3 different advantages. You can take, you favor loaded dice and the missing nuts.
Oh,
to take
did I not
advantage of.
use the loaded dice on my turn? I thought.
I don't know. You described him narratively, but you never actually mechanically took advantage of him, I
Oh,
think.
okay. So in that
Yeah.
case, my plan is to stress him out by. I kind of want to use my. So Belmont kind of goes through like this isn't the first game that he's played, and this isn't the first game where he's been at a sore disadvantage. But he knows that, kind of through his smarts, he's been able to, kind of pass on through. So he's going to look and say, "You talk an awful big game, but I mean, I see you're down to just one bargaining chip left, friend." And I'm going to point to, to where the nuts were stolen. And I'll invoke missing nuts.
Well, okay. So you're trying to. All right. So that's a social attack.
Okay. Roll
Roll your social. He is going to defend socially. This is, unfortunately not a check he's very vulnerable to.
Okay.
Because he's not going to lose his cool at this in front of all of his.
Okay. So I got a 1, and I'll use both of
He
the.
got a 4.
So I can use both of the missing nuts to give myself +4, right?
Yes.
So then I'll
So I
have
cut
a
him off.
5. And yeah.
He is going to He is going to use his Enchanting Fairy King, spend his last fate point on it.
Okay.
Because he looks at you and you see rage. His mouth starts to go up in rage. And then he says, "What do you mean, friend? Clearly they're all here." And waves. And you see 4 nuts in front of him.
Okay.
Now, if you want to keep provoking, or you can pass it on. You want to keep spending. Because you can ask, this can become a bidding war if you can think of ways to continue spending.
Yeah, so can I create an aspect between me and
You can't. Oh, okay. Yes, you can. Sorry. Yes, at the time you can do it.
Yeah, so I'm gonna do it between me and Amanda.
Okay. What are we about to learn about you that we did not know before?
So when I said before that Amanda saved me, back in the forest, what I didn't say exactly was how she saved me. So what happened before was I had gone I had gotten a little curious during our travels together, and I, as someone who's like practicing in the arcane, was like, what is in that bag? And so I went through it, and just a lot of stuff blew up in my face and started just attacking me. Amanda was able to, almost in an instant, and I've seen, people from the Silver Circle, do all sorts of magical stuff. She called them all off, brought it back, stopped me from basically killing myself, and basically just said, I don't want to put words in her mouth, but basically just implied that, when the time is right, you'll learn how to use this bag. Not incredibly well, but you'll figure it out, kid. And so I want to use I'll give myself an aspect with her, which is, joined magical bag, and I just want to go to tell her knife to, kind of go to where the nuts are, and show that he just made them there, that they weren't actually there.
All right, Amanda, are you okay with this?
I'm perfectly fine with it.
Okay. So go ahead, write in your aspect. You get a free invoke on it.
Okay.
He is out of fate points. So he would have to take a consequence. He will take his mild consequence. So his plan is he's not going to defend him, but he's not going to spend any more fate points. So he's going to take 1 stress, which will force him to take a mild consequence. If you can force this any further, there will be no way he can handle it. Or you can let it go at this point and continue the conflict.
I think
Yeah.
I'm gonna invoke favorably loaded dice.
Okay.
So because this is happening while I'm making my turn, right?
Mm-hmm.
So basically I'm going on this whole thing of just of course someone as lowborn as yourself couldn't possibly manage to beat us. I bet he won't even call that I have, and I'll have the loaded dice again. I have 6 6s again.
Okay, and you slam him down, and it does, in fact, look like 6 6s. Yes, he surges to his feet and screams, "Cheaters! You did not, cheaters! This is ridiculous." He sweeps his hand out and scatters your cup and the dice, and the assembled nobles gasp because he's just broken the rules of the game and put his hand on your nut. And for a second he freezes, and then he stands in front of you shaking with suppressed rage. Then he smiles and says, "Fine. Be gone from here and do not think to ever return. You shall not see this forest again. Ever." He waves his hand and everything seems to shimmer, and you find yourself deeply confused back at the edge of the river. So congratulations, you've won. Well, actually, you've won. So how do you? I'm sorry. I should not be narrating this. You have won the conflict. What do you? How do you humiliate the Fairy King and make him release you?
I think I'll just kind of, he's waving us off, but instead of moving back, I will walk closer to him.
Yep.
And just say, don't ever forget this day, where we mortals overcame your supposed highborn nature. And should you come attacking us mortals again, there will be more like me to humiliate you in front of yours.
Sure. Yes. So you tell the Fairy King of the Fae off to his face.
Don't you have
is there any-
manipulation power or something? Can't you technically make him like have to dance? Or is that only on the people before?
So you can, but the results of a conflict, the outcome must make sense with the narrative that's gone before. Like, for instance, you could not, for instance, say that you jump up and suddenly slaughter all the
Right.
Fae lords, because there's been no indication in the story that that's something that's been going forward. Same as if you describe hitting, slicing somebody in the head. You couldn't afterwards say, and we become the best of friends, and we,
Can Amanda out loud suggest that I enchant him to like kind of scare them a little bit?
Oh, absolutely, yes.
So do you want to do
So
that?
He quickly says, sorcerers are not welcome in the courts of the king. So, sorcerers of any kind. Amanda says, fine, your foul magics may have bested us this time, but know that they shall never be so potent again.
We'll see about that. Amanda,
Be gone.
Let's leave this small king to a small kingdom.
Yeah.
You hear his teeth grinding.
Yep. So I think if he's trying to like magically send us out, I interrupt him and just walk away.
Yes, you do so. If that's how you wish to end this scene. You walk away, backs held high, as he stares in impotent rage, tied by the terms of his own wager with you. All right, good. Congratulations. The curse is raised. You have escaped the Elven King. So what I like to do at the end is have a montage of your life after this moment. What is the next thing that happens to each of you? Describe it. Describe to me whatever you think the next, the important thing about your future life is. It could be your return to the castle. It could be anything. It could be next 5 minutes. It could be the next 50 years from now.
I guess my character finally finds true love that never actually happened.
Yes. So you returned. Should it be the prince? Let's see. Or
why not?
Okay. You return to the castle, and the utterly grateful prince meets you at the gate, jumping out, wrapping his arms around you, saying, He's cured, my father, he's cured. How could I ever thank you? And stares at you adoringly. And as he looks in your eyes, you look into his, and you feel something kindle inside your heart, and you realize suddenly that this is the one.
All right.
Go ahead. What do you want to say to your true love?
I don't know. Everything I'd say would be cheesy, so I just say hi.
Okay, and you shyly say hi to him. And even with that little word to him, you see a huge smile break out on his face. Mysterious stranger. What happens to the mysterious stranger?
In the short run, two things. He finds the noble that was dropped off. Searches the forest, brings him back to his wealth, and just says, and
I'm glad. Yep, it is a different type of game. It does require a lot of inventiveness. It's very much an almost a improv
Yeah.
game to really, if you to do it, to really get into it. I made this scenario for conventions because for replayability, because I ran this game yesterday also, which was entirely and absolutely no way at all like plot wise what happened here. It's just the same. It's the same set of characters, the same starting situation, utterly different plot and different thing. So I've run this many times, and like I said, managed to do it without ever getting bored, because it's a new game every time. Not just both because of the players and the plot. So I really enjoy this, and I'm sure I'll be running this again sometime in the future.
All right.
Okay.
Well,
All right.
you
Thank
again.
you. I have no idea if anybody was watching this, but hopefully a couple of people saw it too. And have a good, everybody out there, try to, and have fun despite everything that's going on. And I hope a lot of other people are enjoying the convention as well.
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Bye.
Good afternoon.